started.
There we go.
All right, so it is our favorite friend Eric is back on
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Jinx.
he's making a deep cut, so hopefully he continues to find success here. And, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we got the Reavers versus the Zon. I mean, I am a little bit more convinced on the Jinx deck. I think before this event, I was very much, wow, it's just worse Miracle Draven. But it does do some things differently, which is cool.
Yeah, I think one thing that I really enjoy from it is the Super Mega Death Rocket. I think
Yeah.
it's proven to be quite the handy tool. Being able to deal 5 to a unit anywhere is really difficult to deal with. I mean, Draven also struggles with it. I mean, I think the Miracle List doesn't struggle nearly as much just because it vomits, 6 units in a turn, and killing 1 unit for 4 runes is really not that impactful at that point. But yeah, I mean, he's just going to go ahead and start off with the stacked deck. Go ahead and find himself a card that he wants over these next couple of turns and continue on his merry way. We'll have to assume that he's just going to pass the turn unless he has himself another stacked deck to play. So,
I think I see another stack deck, though, opting to hold it. Maybe he's got to play for next turn lined up already. He's like, I don't need to use this quite yet.
it might be Noxus Hopeful. And so Andrew here going to be developing a Treasure Hunter. I think one of the big winners of set 2. Really just one of the best 2-drops in the game right now. But it does also lead me to believe that this is a mid-range style Draven list rather than that Miracle Draven.
Yep, Treasure Hunter. Initially, I thought it was the best 2-drop in the game, but the problem with it being the best 2-drop in the game is Draven is the best deck, and pushing up 1 might units onto battlefields is not really something you want to do.
True.
And if you're going to move him, well, he's going onto a battlefield generally. So, unfortunately, held back a little bit by that, but still a very powerful card.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he will be able to potentially just go onto this Reaver's Row, and then, that treasure or traveling merchant will also, be able to go onto that Reaver's Row, trigger the discard, but it will allow Andrew to trade no cards because Eric Liu is not playing Draven.
This is true.
For another gold token. So, I mean, that kind of feels pretty safe for me if I am Andrew here. I think he's just going and mulling over all his available options. I do see a Rebuke in his hand, so that is something that he could be considering. And then also could be on something like Ride the Wind, that I do know a lot of mid-range lists are on. So I'm not really sure what he's considering here. It feels like the Reaver's Row is a pretty clear-cut decision overall. Could be opting to try and go for the Zon Warrens and maybe Tide Turner, shift back.
See, this is what I was complaining about, though, with untimed top cut. Like, it's the second turn of the game, third turn of the game, and that was like 3 minutes to push up Treasure Hunter. Like, I think that it is important to be able to make the correct play, and it is cool to give the players the time to do that. But at the same time, one of the big skills of the game is playing at a reasonable pace, right? Is being able to make these decisions within a certain amount of time. So anyways, does opt to play out the Treasure Hunter, get a couple gold tokens, and now play out the Tide Turner, move the Treasure Hunter, and does get a lot of gold tokens, and that should be readied, as it is Ride the Wind. Yep, there we go. So gonna get 4 gold tokens. It is insane off of 1 Treasure Hunter.
And he doesn't want to bring it back?
Well, I don't think he's passing over yet. Yeah. We haven't resolved the combat yet, so.
Okay. All right. There we go.
There we go. So another one. Well,
Yep.
Will not be paying power for probably the rest of the game.
He is a rich, rich man.
Yes. All that gold, you'd think he's Smog.
Lord of the Rings reference for all of those who don't know. And it looks like he actually picked himself up a second Draven Vanquisher, so a little bit shocked to see him running any of those in the main deck.
Wow.
Not very often that you will see that in the main deck of these Draven mid-range lists. So, yeah, we'll have to see what Eric decides to do with this turn here. Can't quite see what he has. I do see a Rebuke and a couple other cards, so it looks like he's just going to go ahead and trigger the Traveling Merchant with that Reaver's Row, and then the Reaver's Row is just going to go ahead and protect that Tide Turner. And so now, Eric Liu.
Yep, just pulls right back, nice and safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric playing pretty fast. I guess he had plenty of time to plan his turn out. So there comes the card you were talking about before.
That's Super Mega Death Rocket taking out that Treasure Hunter. No more gold going to be utilized.
Yet. Could play more. So yeah, obviously Andrew has to read the card. Not exactly a super common card to see. What is cool with the Rocket is that you can use it a bunch of times. I'm sure you guys were able to see it plenty of times in Eric's previous features, but you can use this card up to 3 times in one turn.
Yes, but you'd have to have it in your hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
To start, because he's 1, then discard, then 1, then discard, then 1, then discard.
I wonder how many plays.
So Kai'Sa going to be the card that comes down here. And yeah, Eric just going to go ahead and trigger that discard. I think he doesn't really need this Rebuke. And yep, they're just going to go ahead and get rid of it. I think he drew a Nocturne. No, it's a Rasa. But this Traveling Merchant is going to be able to just move around the whole set of turns here. And, well, I mean, Andrew was able to draw 2 from this Kai'Sa, which is very convenient. But that does give Eric the opportunity to kind of clap back here, if you will. He does have the Vi, and then Eric does only have 1 rune available because of this, which means that he's just going to get rid of this hard bargain. Doesn't really want to utilize it right now. And yeah, Eric just putting his hand down, making sure that his cards are visible, that his opponent is aware of those cards, and Andrew just going to go ahead and take the time to make any final decisions before passing the turn.
Yep, and I mean, big turn from Draven, getting a lot of draws there. Yeah, I know. So Ronald Sunkissed 9633 is my biggest fan, apparently. So thank you, Ronald Sunkissed.
Yeah.
Appreciated. You know, my knowledge on llamas is quite...
What's your knowledge on Kalamas?
I think you know more about me, about the Kalamas. I only know about the llamas.
They're calamitous.
Someday. And
You know who else has a big fan?
Yeah?
Draven.
It's true.
He has the biggest fan.
Yeah, he has the... Is it literally his greatest
Draven's
fan?
biggest fan, yeah. That's the overzealous fan.
Oh, overzealous fan. Does he? Does he have
They
that
renamed it. They renamed it.
Does he have that in like the?
It's Legends of Runeterra. It's literally the same art. That's
You're
Draven's
right.
biggest
You're
fan.
right. I forgot that they did that. That they just like stole. Actually, this came up because I do paint over cards, right? I do painting over on Twitter.
You alt arts.
Yeah, and I had someone make a snide comment to one of my. You know how Twitter goes, right? People make silly comments, and they were upset that I didn't know that the card had a full like expanded art from Runeterra, and they're like, "That's not how the card goes." And I was like, "Oh." So I got flamed on Twitter because I did not match. Apparently, the dude's hair was different, and I drew him bold or something.
Well, how dare you not know everything?
I know, right? I mean, this is how things go. All right,
Ronald, now you have to take it back. He doesn't know everything.
Yeah, but I know about the llamas, so you know we got that. All right, so Eric going up to 5 here. Andrew developing in the back. I mean, there's quite a few. Oh,
he's like, whoa, whoops,
Wait.
whoops.
Yeah. So making sure we want to distinguish the battlefields in the base here, and there's the Death Rocket. See, this Death Rockets are crazy.
Yeah, this Death Rocket has been putting in a ton of work. I don't know how he tapped. Okay, there it is. He's fixing that.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
1, 2, 3, 4. Did he recycle one? Oh no. Yeah, shouldn't there be one more?
There should be one more. I think he miscounted his runes, but there's supposed to be a judge there to make sure that doesn't happen, but it did. So we're just gonna complain.
Okay.
Like Twitter.
Or maybe we missed one. It's possible.
No, we're complaining like Twitter.
Oh, okay. I do like complaining like Twitter. That is like one of my best features.
One of my best features.
Yes. You didn't know that? You
I didn't. You know,
Well,
the more you know.
I'm complaining that you didn't realize that. So
Oh, you know what? There you go. Yeah, you're proving your point well.
I'm really disappointed by the lack of llamas, though. Like, come on. They're so. I guess the Lucian, unfortunately, probably lost in the last round or either bubbled out. Unfortunate. I am curious to see if we will see any of the Detonate Dravens. So that is the kind of third build. So there's the Miracle, the mid range, and then the Detonate build that popped off a little bit in Vegas. I haven't seen any walking around, but I mean, could still be out there.
Yeah, could be. Could
Man.
not be.
Also, yeah, you're right. You know, you could be very sad and be the one volley bear and match up into a Detonate Draven.
Yeah, and then you lose into the top 8, or lose your opportunity for the top 8.
Well, he did lose, but it was a valiant effort. I did actually get to watch the end of that game, the volley bear game, and he was one mite off, and he actually had the win. It was game 3.
He might have gotten it.
Round of applause for Sasuke, everyone. But all right. Anyways, back to the match. Eric building a giant army in base.
That was unbelievable. All right, we're gonna. I've derailed this conversation a little bit too much, but yes, Eric. Eric is just counting all his cards, making sure that. Oh, I think he's being informed that he forgot to exhaust one or something.
I mean, with only one rune up, it really shouldn't make a difference because the only thing you're playing with one anyways is like a stack deck, so wouldn't really make a difference here if he did end up exhausting the one extra rune. Is on odd points, which is a little bit unfortunate. And you don't really want to be on the odd points here. It does mean that despite Andrew being at 4, he is a turn ahead, because he will go up to 6 on the next turn. And I can only assume he does double conquer. Like, it seems pretty impossible that Eric has any way to defend.
The fact that this Vi is getting stripped away is definitely a little bit punishing.
Well, he played a stack deck, didn't he? Or did he just
played the seal last turn, and then he played a stack deck this turn.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the stack deck wasn't actually played and it was discarded off of something. That would be my only guess. I don't know.
All right, we're complaining. I told you, Cruz, we're complaining like Twitter. Don't fix it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Just let us be the.
Let us be Twitter idiots. All right.
Yeah, this is the. I am the world's biggest complainer, and you will not take that away from me, or I will complain. So stack deck coming out. I see. I see a Forerunner in the main deck. I mean, it's going to be a pretty solid card. One of the advantages of the Jinx version of this deck is that it does actually have removal with the rockets, and the Forerunner is going to say, I don't care.
Yeah, the Forerunner is really good because, I mean, it is out of range of that rocket, but also into this Jinx deck where it is kind of very heavy on its removal style. Just being able to have a unit that sticks around for a turn or two, even if you do remove it, you get those 2 mech tokens back. It can enable a lot of different opportunities. So going to go ahead and very likely pick up that Flare's Forerunner, and there it is. So we'll have to see if he decides to put it onto the battlefield with the Tide Turner, just to make things a little bit awkward for Eric, force him to kind of almost overcommit, if you will, to try and take this battlefield back. And it looks like that is going to be the case. Going to use his final gold token that he used from that treasure hunter. I mean, this is just absolutely insane here. He's able to get so much value and is going to go ahead and hide a card as well. And now Eric has to fight through not only this Ferris Forerunner, but has to find a way to stave off the aggression on that following turn as well.
Yeah, it is going to be pretty rough here. You have to not only clear out the units, but deal with that hidden, and then make sure that you do not die on that following turn. Because how many cards? Is that only 2 cards in hand for Andrew? That is like something, a bright side, right? Like he doesn't have a ton of stuff to work with. Only 1 rune up, which does mean that there probably isn't any interaction happening here besides that hidden. Do have to keep in mind that if you do swing onto the Reavers, I mean, the Reavers is going to most likely save the hopeful.
Yeah. And so Eric really just kind of mulling over all his decisions, just going to go ahead and send and offer that trade for the hopeful. We'll have to see if Andrew decides to take the trade or not, or if he just wants to protect his hopeful for that following turn. Yeah, I mean, right now, Eric really doesn't have a great way to overtake this Zon Warrens. So he just wants to try and get this Conquer off, kind of bully Andrew into not taking this trade, because even if he does take the trade, very likely will see this Traveling Merchant go onto that Reaver's Row, trigger the move, find himself something a little bit more useful to do with his turn, and then find a way to deal with this Paris Forerunner.
Yeah, and Andrew in the tank thinking about this one. It's not actually one of one Jinx. It is a one of three Jinx, right?
No, I
Four.
don't know if that is the Metal Jinx.
Is it?
I don't think so.
It looks different.
It does look different. It is a promo.
Oh, no, it's not, right? Because they use the original art.
Yeah, they use the original.
So I don't know what that is. It looks cool, though.
It does look cool.
All right. Stack. Wait. Called shot. Called shot. I lost it there
Called
for a
shot
second.
repeated here. Things are getting a little bit dark just because the lighting is a little bit weird from where they're at. That is, in fact, the best of Jinx.
Okay.
But metal, not best of. It's best of. I don't think so, chat. That's not the original art for the Jinx, and they used the original art for the best ofs, so that doesn't make sense to me. It is a promo, though. I don't know what promo that is from.
Wait, that is the original art of Jinx.
Head judge here?
No. Is that? I don't know. It looks cool.
That's
we
the
go.
original
That
Jinx.
is the original art. I couldn't tell with the. Okay. You know
Oh.
what? Oh, I deck checked him. Okay. We got
I
to.
promise you it's the best of. I deck check him. Well, okay. That's quite the flex. I don't know that I'd feel comfortable carrying that amount of value. All right.
It's like when you see the people with the slabs as their leaders. I don't think I could do that. Like, imagine you have like a black label.
I mean, he's just walking around with like 35K right there.
Yeah. I mean, we are well aware Eric is the Jinx master. There's a reason he is third seed here. He does like to terrorize the Austin locals quite a bit.
All right. So just going to fully stack onto this field here. He is going to be at 6 points. Make it fairly difficult to try and overtake this battlefield.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you kind of want to just avoid that hidden plus the Forerunner and get yourself on the 6 and then potentially try and find the game on the next turn. Because going up to the odd points doesn't actually really help that much here. I will say what is a little bit scary is if that is a fight or flight that does represent more might than actually is there, right? Because you can go like fight or flight back like a Forerunner and then push that up. So there's more might represented than it actually looks like. That does mean that has to be a fight or flight, though. It could be, since this is mid-range Draven, there are like switcheroo. Most people are off of it, but there's like Edge of Night. There are a few other options.
Yep. And so now Eric is just going to try and hold this Reaver's Row for now. Make it so that Andrew cannot get that 8th point very easily. He does basically have, he has access to 11 runes right there.
Yeah. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Yeah, you're right. Right? Right? Yeah, because he's got the one Dark Vader.
Well, we don't know if there's another Darth Vader under there. So hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
No,
8,
there's
9, 10. It looks like there's
there's
two runes.
the red rune in the middle has another one right under
Oh,
it.
yeah, you're right. Okay.
All right, so a lot to work with here. I don't think his hand is very big, though.
Right. I think he's only got 3 cards right now. And one of those cards is a Rebuke, but that's not going to be doing too much right now. So just going to go ahead and try and bolster his own battlefield and make it so that Eric cannot overtake it in response. And yeah, Andrew just doing what he can to try and maintain his control over his own battlefield, because right now he is winning the race. And so Eric is going to have to figure out how does he deal with.
Yeah, how do you deal with this? So the Jinx champion unit does have a pseudo accelerate. You discard, she does ready herself. So there is potentially at least one unit with accelerate coming out, plus all obviously the ganking nocturnes. You can go bushwhack. I don't believe the bushwhack has been gone through, so bushwhack plus
He
Rams
did
and
discard his own bushwhack, so I don't know if he discarded his only bushwhack or if he's
Okay.
running two.
okay. All right, let's see what Eric has up his sleeve. Obviously, again, the Nocturnes, the Hopeful, potentially an accelerated Jinx. I think I see a Rebuke.
Oh,
Yep, there's
so
one.
he is running a second bushwhack.
All right. So that's where one of the things where open deck list matters a lot.
Yep.
You can see exactly how many of these cards that your opponent is playing. So now trying to dig for a bunch of Nocturnes, a bunch of Rasas, Battering Rams, all these cards that are coming out for cheap. Is that a... It's not a Nocturne.
Looks like a Nocturne.
If it was, you just play it, right? Like, there's no thought.
That's fair. Yeah, 100% not a Nocturne.
That would be quite a nice hit if it was. But, all right, so Merchant, so really digging here. I wonder what he's looking for.
Just mostly his efficient units. Has a seal in hand. It looks like there is a Rasa. So might just be trying to utilize this Rasa this turn because it really is just his only opportunity for now. I do see a Rebuke.
Is that another called shot? Looks like 0.
Yep, it is. Oh, no, it's the Rebuke going to come out. I think it has to be the Ferris Forerunner.
No, it's the Darius, right?
Oh, okay.
Darius can go to 7. Forerunner's only 6.
Fair enough.
And at this point, it doesn't matter that it's floating because the game is either over or it's not, unless they have an exact trade, which is pretty unlikely.
Yep, and Eric does also have to figure out how he's supposed to get around that fight or flight, right? He doesn't quite have enough gas in the tank to take it over right now. And yeah, it's kind of a pretty difficult position to be in. We do see the double called shot, so it looks like he is going to recycle those two as well. I mean, this is the final turn of the game, so just utilizing whatever resources you have available, I think, does make perfect sense. Yep, just going to go for the double called shot. Hope that he finds a Nocturne.
Well, you can't because you've used all your purples or Rasa.
No, Nocturne is any color.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, you are a smart man.
Yeah.
You can't use Rasas, though.
Cannot use Rasas anymore. Yep.
You're a smart man. You know what? Let's pull this up.
So that battering ram is going to get used.
How many spells? We've played a lot, right?
He's played the seal plus bushwhack plus
2 called shots.
called shots.
So, yeah. Yes, you are absolutely right. It is 1 power of your choice.
So 18 might here, up to against 14 might, and he will be able to tie it. No, and in fact, actually beat it. So now that's 13 might to 14 might. And I think Eric is just doing the math here to make sure that he cannot beat it.
Yep, Andrew making absolutely sure there's not something he's missing here.
Yeah.
I mean, still 4 runes up as well and 2 cards in hand. Well, we know one's a Darius, so 1 unknown. Eric is at, what, 4 runes? Or did he use both the floating?
He used both the floating to develop both those battering rams.
Okay.
And there comes a Rebuke. And I think with that, that seals the deal here in game number 1. And yeah. So now,
Yep.
just going to reveal that there was no fight or flight in hand, and that will be game number 1.
Yep. So Eric does, unfortunately, lose the first game to Andrew, and Andrew takes it with the mid-range Draven. I mean, mid-range Draven showing how powerful it is. I don't think that should be anybody's surprise here. It is the most represented deck in the Top Cut for a reason.
Yeah. Almost like it's a good deck.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I've heard this before. I don't know.
There are rumors. You don't know for sure.
Yeah, you know, I don't trust things that I hear secondhand.
Not unless it's from Twitter.
Of course. And then only the negative things.
Yes. Yeah. Especially when they're untrue. That's how you know they're true.
Yes. Especially when they're about me. All right, so game 2, I think we've mostly seen Eric. Eric is candlelit when he goes first.
Has to be, yeah, because he's only used the minefield. We've only ever seen him use the minefield because he keeps winning.
He keeps
So this is the first time it will be a best of 3 if he does manage to take game number 2 here. So we'll have to see if he finds a way back into this series. But Andrew playing the mid-range Draven very well, playing it very patiently, and still managed to hold on to that final battlefield, even though he kind of lost control of the game in that final set of turns there.
Yeah, it was looking a little bit spooky. Unfortunately, Andrew only had like 1 or 2 cards in hand, so if Eric was able to find maybe a 3rd battering ram or anything that represented a threat, like maybe the fight or flight, could have gone differently.
Yeah, I think if he had managed to find himself a Fizz, his one of Fizz, things would have been a lot better for him there. But he didn't, unfortunately, so here we are. But yeah, I mean, I think him being able to rebuke the Darius plus the Ferris Forerunner would have been enough for him to actually win the game there.
It's a lot of purple power. It's really hard to play all these, right? Because you have to pay 2 for rebuke, 1 for Fizz, 2 for rebuke. He did 2 seals though, so that does help a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't draw those seals early enough though, unfortunately for him. So did end up costing him a lot of runes early on, and I feel like because of that final turn, he just didn't have quite enough in that gas really to finish out that game there for himself. So Andrew here going to be finishing up his mulligans, trying to decide what is actually the correct line.
I think he's still siding.
Yeah.
You know, people.
Well, Jinx is a very weird matchup because these Mega Death Rockets just be blowing up all your stuff.
That's true. That is true. You can play like hard bargains, I guess.
Yeah.
If you have them, that might not be too bad. All right, so it looks like Eric is ready
To rumble?
Yeah, I'm ready to rumble. I don't know. Is that something Jinx would say?
No, that's just something.
Oh,
That was a rumble joke. Because there's no rumble anywhere near the top cut, or in the tournament.
This is true.
Rather.
This is true. You know, I don't know how it keeps happening, but when I was casting the Chinese events, I kept getting the rumbles. I think I've casted like 4 rumbles, which is 4 too many.
So you are ready to rumble.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. I'm in the danger zone right now.
Okay. Oh man. All right. We're we're here.
It's
okay.
there. It's that time.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And by the way, it is dark because right now there are clouds coming over the sky, and then the clouds leave the sky, and then the lighting fixes itself. So it's just a where they're forced to set up issue. Nothing that they can fix.
Yeah. So generally, how the sky works is the sun is like up above us, and it gives us light. And when things go between,
Wait, you lost me.
Oh, okay.
What's
sorry.
sun?
Well, you know how the world is on like a giant tortoise?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the tortoise like walks under one of the giant trees, and it blocks the sun, and then you can't see anything.
I thought sun was like, child.
Nah. Nah. All right, so Obelisk coming out for Draven. Wouldn't be surprised to see a early Draven, though that being said, a little bit dangerous when the Eric does play Death Rocket, right? You could just go, bam, Draven's dead. What if we lived on a llama? Thoughts?
Actually, the world is flat, and let me explain to you why.
Okay.
It doesn't have a bra.
It's true. That's true. You know how the Japanese have like an anime character for everything?
Mm-hmm.
There's like Earth-chan.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Yep. Nope. I've
Yeah.
been proven wrong. Earth is not flat.
Yeah. Okay, so the traveling merchant being pushed up onto handle it. Dang, he did draw a Nocturne, which does kind of stink. And let's see, do these go to the bottom? That is a bit unfortunate. It means no good cards were in the top two and no Nocturnes. Does
Yes. The lighting is really hurting my ability to cast right now, as I cannot see any of those cards that Eric has. But I mean, this is honestly a pretty great start here for Andrew. He's able to develop 2 units versus the 1, but you know, Eric is going to be able to use this Candlelit Sanctum, play that Jinx, as well as that Seal of Discord. So,
Yep, it is a good way there to go ahead and. So Eric's play of not playing the Draven, good way to play around the Rocket. So ends up playing 2 little guys, and instead no Rocket comes down. Instead, Eric choosing to develop the Jinx and even putting her on the battlefield, which I find a little bit surprising. But
for me, this seems like one of those scenarios where he's just trying to dissuade this traveling or treasure hunter from really building up its board per se. So last game he was able to get 4 gold tokens, and then because of it, Andrew just had so many runes to work with throughout the entirety of that game. And what this tells to me right now is that he's got that switcheroo, and no, it's going to be a rebuke instead, but still equally as punishing. So now I think if I'm him, I just take out that treasure hunter, don't allow it to move around anymore. Yes, you do get 1 gold, but I mean, really, the Tide Turner is not that big a deal to deal with.
feels pretty bad when you do get, like, you go for this early hold, and then your purple opponent just has one of the 15 cards that break any hold in the game with Fight or Flight or Rebuke or Spinning Axe or just a lot of good cards, and I guess that kind of is a good indicator of the meta where you just never see decks go for holds right now. I think the only deck that does sometimes is Aurelia, but Aurelia has all the counter spells. It has infinite might boosts. Makes it pretty scary to go into her, plus the deflect.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the decks that I think I'm a little bit surprised to see a lack of is actually Yasuo. I think Yasuo is still pretty well poised. He still gets to do all the miracle-y stuff that all the other purple decks get to do, but he also gets to utilize the Treasure Hunter better than any other deck. And then Aurelia obviously gets to utilize the Stellarcorn Herder, I would argue, slightly better, but it does cost a lot of runes to do so. That said, that you play the Stellarcorn Herder on turn 2, turn 3, you got to move it up, and then you got to move it right back. You got to draw 2 for 2, essentially.
Yeah, the main problem, and I spent a lot of time with Yasuo in set 2, is that you're just too slow if you're going for these plays. Just to give some context, right? So you play your treasure. So you go first, you go Treasure Hunter, you push up Treasure Hunter on turn 2, you pull it back because you don't want it to sit on a battlefield. You're playing in a Draven meta. It's going to die. It's going to give them gold, or give them draws, and you don't want to give them draws. So now that is, you've developed nothing, and you've gotten 2 treasure tokens, which is good, and you have 2 runes to work with on turn 2. So you could just play like another 2-drop. It still doesn't feel good, and the most successful way to play Yasuo in set 1 was like the 2-drop build where you play like, I forget, like 12 2-drops or something.
Right.
And you just go really hard, really early with the Yasuo leader. You go 2 points on your second turn. Awesome. But that works very poorly into the Draven deck. And you can choose to play like a Miracle style Yasuo. And at that point, you're like, well, why wouldn't you just play like a Miracle Aurelia then instead? Because Yasuo is more expensive. Like everything about Yasuo is more expensive, and the Miracle decks are okay with playing on low rune counts. So you can afford the Yasuo or the Aurelia leader ability more often. Whereas the Yasuo one you just can't because you're playing on low rune counts. That's my experience with it, and there might be like a super secret build out there from one of the top Yasuo players that's cooked up. I mean, Fizz copy Last Breath would be pretty cool, but I have not found it yet.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, Last Breath, I think, is a card that a lot of players don't even play around because I got to be honest, I don't even know what it does.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's like a. I hate to say this because it feels a bit simplified, but a bad Stormbringer, which is the volley card, in that it does damage to something on a battlefield, and then it moves your unit, and in this case, it doesn't directly move it; it readies it. But the problem here is it costs a lot. 2 power is a big investment.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Especially because it costs 3 energy as well.
Yeah, makes it very awkward. You have to play like Kane with it to make it worth it. And the Kane builds are. How do you play Kane when everyone has Rebuke in their deck?
It's simple. You don't.
I played 9 counter spells in my hand. That's how. And then they try and Rebuke, and I say no. Jinx loading up onto the Candlelit here. Eric took it from the minute 1 and has not let go. I mean, we got a. Well, he did, but
He did let it go for 1 turn, and then Andrew just kind of peeled back. And since then, Eric is really just trying to maintain his hold over it here. But that said, if Andrew just goes and takes the Obelisk of Power, he does end up winning the race. So it will be up to Eric to try and find his way to push Andrew off for a single turn. That said, right now, there are just far too many units on Andrew's side of the board for that to really be the case. So Eric right now just trying to find a little bit of reprieve, trying to slow down the game state. He does have that Nocturne to gank over, so he can utilize that on the following turn. But yeah, I think right now Andrew's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, which is just playing this patient game and allowing really the mid-range to do what it does best, right? Which is just win the mid-game, overwhelm them, and use that to choke out your opponent in these later stages of the game. So Draven very likely going to come down. Looks like with a spinning axe as well. He does need to exhaust the runes. Yep, there we go.
was there a card? I missed it. We were talking. Okay, so I was going to say, was that the second card? In which case, the
Yes.
Darius triggers. Is that enough to get over? I want to say that is, because Draven will be at 9 if the ability is used.
17 on Eric's side of the field.
Yeah, so 6. Yeah, there is enough might if he does opt to go for it. That being said, Eric is holding runes, and something like a rebuke could be pretty awkward. That could be pretty awkward.
Yep. So I think Andrew's playing this properly here. Needs to utilize that rebuke on the following turn. Looks like that is going to be the case as well. I mean, he does ready and he just goes ahead and passes right now, recognizes that, like, there's just no way to really overtake this battlefield right now. If there is a rebuke, I kind of lose the game. I lose probably the Draven and the spinning axe unless I, recycle again. But either way, he's losing that Darius. So now this Nocturne is just going to go ahead and gank over, give Eric that point lead that he very much needed here. And so, yeah, I mean, really just showcasing how this deck is supposed to work. And boom, that Jinx will finally come back down after being rebuked on that turn 3, I want to say. And so, yeah, I mean, Eric's feeling pretty comfortable about his position now. Andrew had to kind of almost, in a sense, overcommit just to be able to pressure Eric away. And now Andrew will just bring in that Darius, take over that Nocturne, be allowed to draw an additional card for the turn. And there's 2 Rossas in Eric Lu's hand, but no way to discard them as of yet.
Yeah, the discard is not actually super big yet, is it? I think, is it just 3 cards?
Just 3 cards.
No stacked decks, no called shots. A lot of units on the board.
Yeah.
Though there is
lot of
the
might.
Merchant. So Merchant can move on the next turn, hopefully find something. Because it feels pretty bad to have these Rossas that you can't really play.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Eric is going to navigate this turn. I expect him to utilize the Traveling Merchant to just ready the Jinx. So we'll see if he decides to rebuke some way, shape, or form this Draven. And then, yeah, Andrew here just going to be forced to play on odd points, which is not something you want to see. He is going to be able to find off the top there that Fight or Flight or Falling Star. And I'm curious if he wants to keep either of them. I assume he does, because those seems like some really powerful effects, especially in the mid-range Draven list. And I think maybe the Falling Star isn't great right now just because everything is 4 might or above. But being able to pass here with all of these runes available, a very frightening place to be in if you're Eric Liu.
Nope, you said that.
I had to caster curse him.
Maybe like 4 runes Kaisa developed. Yeah. Just putting some stuff in base, ready for next turn. And pulling the Darius back. So keeping Darius out of harm's way. Both players with infinite might on the board, but in the base. Saving them up for a big showdown in the end.
Yeah, I think right now, if all things continue, Eric Liu is in a very advantageous position to be able to win this game number 2 here. He will be able to Piercing Light off the top here and shoot down one of these Kaisas. So now he doesn't even really need to do anything too effective. I mean, he could just send in the Jinx right now, overtake this Candlelit Sanctum, and then this Traveling Merchant will allow him to discard and draw an additional card. So
And ready the Jinx.
yep, ready the Jinx, bring her right back to base.
Is that? Ooh, you drew an Ezreal. That's big.
It is a big draw, but he doesn't actually have anything to utilize it with right now. So instead, just going to go ahead and use it anyways. Pitch away the Rasa, even though it is the bigger body. It will just be thrown away. So Noxus Hopeful, Seal of Discord, and I can't quite tell what that last card is off the top there.
Was it a third Ezreal or a second Ezreal? It might have been.
Might have been the second Ezreal. Nope. Wait.
Nope.
It was the Noxus Hopeful you picked
Oh,
up
wow.
and the Vi. Okay.
So big turn setting up for the final push on the next turn. He is at 6 points, so a double conquer will win the game.
So there is that Falling Star, and it is going to be able to finally get that value, actually, right off the top here, as both the Vi and the Ezra are going to get knocked out by this Falling Star. And Andrew might be able to claw his way back into this game. I mean, this Traveling Merchant will be able to get stripped away by either this Darius or this Kaisa. And now he will be able to draw 2 cards. Finds a Fight or Flight off that top with that Candlelit Sanctum and 1 other card.
Yeah, and the Falling Star is pretty high impact here because that Vi represents a lot of might. So being able to take it out and the Ezreal, which means it's pretty unlikely, but like a top-decked Falling Star, or sorry, top-decked Cold Shot will now be at least a little bit more impactful. That being said, I don't think Eric really has too much to do, right? Only 1 card in hand.
Yeah, Eric will be able to draw an additional card off that Jinx, though.
It's true. Is it before? It happens before you draw for turn?
Yes.
Okay. So it does get a draw too. That's not too bad. Is that the first time this game that it has triggered? I think it is.
Yeah, it usually only triggers once per game, sometimes twice, but very seldomly will it trigger twice. So, I mean, it's you draw on average less than you do with Draven, but it is less reliant than the Draven for its draw. So this Draven will go into the battlefield. He is going to look at the top 2. Does find a Spinning Axe off the top, so might just be able to utilize that. Doesn't have a way to draw as of yet, but if he does win one of these combats, that will be in his hand. So deciding to send 1 to the bottom, put the other one back on top, and very likely will just try and hold one of these 2 battlefields.
Yep, would not be super surprised. I mean, this is the second last turn of the game. Anything that happens after this, again, unless Eric is able to clear both battlefields without also taking one, which could happen, just like crashing, trading. Not the most likely thing, but most likely. Okay, yeah, and has the Treasure Hunter for 1 might. Okay, that is 1 might. Can't complain.
So that leads me to believe that he has something like a switcheroo, and that is going to be, something that Eric Liu does have to worry about here.
Yeah.
And the fact that he is hiding a card as well, makes that all the more believable. I mean, we do know that he did draw into a Fight or Flight, so it's very likely the Fight or Flight instead. But playing that Treasure Hunter there does make you wonder.
It represents the threat, right? So at that point, it gives Eric opportunities to misplay. Ooh, there we go. There's the rocket. Got a hard bargain.
We did see him discard a hard bargain. I don't know if it was last game or this one.
Could be an axe as well. Save him. I really do like the pace of play from Eric. He knows what he's going to do, and he does it.
Yep. So we do see a rebuke on Andrew's side of the field.
All right, rebuking on the Draven here. This is nice because then you can, if you are scared of the potential switcheroo, you can just go shove up a hopeful. And if they switcheroo, you can just shove up another hopeful. It's very easy. You could even just shove up double hopeful, and then that actually stops the draw too. So maybe a bit better that way.
Absolutely. And I think this is actually really, really smart too for that, you know, it lets you just send in your hopeful. If it's a hidden fight or flight, then he's going to get pushed. The hopeful will have to be pushed back anyways. So if it is that switcheroo, you can just send in your battering ram to overtake it after the fact. And then, you know, if there is a rebuke, well, I mean, you only lost a hopeful. So this is really good patient play here from Eric. And I think Andrew right now kind of feels a little bit forced to use this hard bargain if he does have it. And we have to assume that it is there. Otherwise, I just don't see any reason why he'd be thinking this hard. And, well, there it is at the top of his hand right next to his thumb.
Yep. Though Eric does have runes up. The thing to be thinking about, though, is Eric doesn't actually have a lot of cards in hand, so he might be just totally okay with this. He might also, he will get the rocket back, most likely. So that is something that you will also be able to hard bargain later in the turn, is if Eric does make a play, assuming that he's going to get a second use out of the rocket, and then you can just go, okay, hard bargain on the rocket, and that will just be a full negate, right? As he only has 5 cards left, or 5 runes left.
So now Eric deciding as everything gets incredibly dark.
Again.
This is dark times for Andrew.
Yes, it's representing the feelings in Andrew's heart, but I don't know. I think I'm sitting pretty if I'm Andrew right now. I think I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually really heads-up play here from Eric Liu. It plays around both Rebuke and Fight or Flight.
Nope, there you go. So there was one.
There's the Fight or Flight. And, yep, he will be able to look at the top 2 and then get discard as well as...
Yep, so the Death Rocket trigger now. Getting that card back. Discarding a Bushwhack. Okay. And this is where the hard bargain's going to come down. Yep, there's the hard bargain. So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? You just shove him up, and if he's got it, he's got it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Not
Absolutely.
Really many options
so
here.
he has to have exactly Spitting Axe plus Rebuke, but we do know that he does not have it because that last card in hand is the Draven.
All right. And Eric does take game 2, so we do get a game 3. Is this Eric's first game 3 on stream?
I think so, yeah. Everything else is 2-0'd.
I mean, the Death Rocket, that card is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the Super Mega Death Rocket has been putting in a lot of work. Also, Regalia, I'm pretty sure it's a much bigger flex to have the Best of Jinx on board than it is to have the Arcane Jinx.
Nah. I won a lottery. Actually, was the Arcane Box a lottery, or was that one just a straight pre-order where the website crashed?
No idea. Probably both.
Okay.
Because, like, where the website crashes, that's because at that point it is a lottery.
Fair enough, fair enough. Did you get any of the lottery?
No.
You did not? None of them? Zero?
None of them.
Nada?
Nada, dang thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I got 2. I got the lottery for the Spirit Forge box, and which is still sitting on my shelf since I got it like a month and a half ago. A month ago, probably. 3 weeks ago, probably.
The Vegas?
No. The box. The Spirit Forge box. There was a lottery for that as well. If you could buy one.
You talking about the Aurelia one?
No. So
Like, you're talking
literally
about
a box of Spirit Forge.
Okay.
Through the Riot website.
Okay.
And then also I did get the lottery for the Aurelia, but that hasn't been sent. Who knows when that'll be sent? So missed Vegas, missed Bologna. Tried for both. Sad.
Yeah.
At least I got Leo.
Yeah.
You
at least did get Leo. That's something that I wish I got. Wait, what? Ah. Here. Hold on, chat. Where I'm doing something important.
He's trying to type right now. It's very impressive.
Trying to type right now. It's very impressive. You know what? That was low key a lot of shade.
This is the power of a man who knows his llamas.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't get that everywhere.
Rocket should still cost 3. I'll die on that hill. You know, honestly, I don't know that that's a hill you want to die on. He is one of the best of Jinx winners, so he has a lot of merit in his comment. But here's my counter argument: no.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be dying on any hills. To be honest, I will be dying in a blaze of glory. Yeah, I'll be like isekai'd into some fantasy land, and then I'm gonna be there's gonna be some I need a hero going on in the background, and then it's me versus like 50 orcs, and I'm gonna die. But it was cool.
That is cool.
They maybe made like a movie about me or something. Anyways, looks like Eric is going second here. He does play the minefield. Does find the double seals Ezreal. Okay, I mean that
is an explosive start.
Hopefully he is able to find a called shot here, because that will make the following turn quite insane.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew does have to have the Falling Star right now, but that does put him back on 2 runes, and it's really just a deal with 1 unit. So just going to go ahead and send himself onto that Targon's Peak. Pretty much just allow this Ezreal to do what it wants to do, and he's going to put that Draven into that back line. And I like this a lot here, because now, even if he does manage to kill this Treasure Hunter, he is going to be trading his Ezreal for it. I see. My bad. I missed. Okay.
Why does Eric have so many different runes? Does he have like base runes as well?
No idea.
This makes me irrationally angry when I see this. I saw someone who is using, it was the base runes, so like the very basic ones. They were using the Spirit Forge Nexus Knight, the Origins Nexus Knight, and the Alt Art ones. And I'm like, you cannot do this. This should not be allowed. No, it's more than 6, because we know Andrew's playing multiple Draven in his deck.
I think he meant Draven.
He says
players.
copies of Draven.
All right, you know what?
There are 6 Draven players, so in the top cut. We know Andrew's on multiple Dravens, so that
I was close.
No. You said the word copies. You cannot take it back.
Yeah, it was typed into chat. It's only we have the power to delete it.
Exactly, and I will not be deleting that. That will be.
That's a hill he's going to die on.
Yeah, or maybe a valley.
A valley, yeah, because he said no hills. That was the hill that he was going to die on. Was that he was going to die on no hills?
I was going to die on the llama's back, to be honest. What if we had, how there's like horse armor?
Uh-huh.
What if we had llama armor? Take like a llama into battle?
Lamar?
What if we sold it as DLC?
Downloadable content?
Yeah.
Yes.
You only you can save your llama in the middle of a war. Okay, so so Treasure Hunter is on 2 gold tokens. Can we beat 4? 4 was the last game.
Yeah, that was in 1 turn though.
That was a crazy turn. Dude, purple is so good.
Yes,
purple
agree.
is so good.
So now this Draven is going to go ahead and do the swippity swappities.
Yep, keeping Draven safe. I mean, he is our boy. He has the fancy Draven too. I don't know what the name of that
skin is. It's like $3 now.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's really cheap.
In general, those alt art like champion units that don't have the fancy overnumber thing, they're not very expensive, which is kind of cool. I think the most expensive one was like the alt art Darius for a while. It was like $30 or something, but that's because the base Darius was like 20 something.
Yeah, for like 2 days or something.
No, it was like the first month because Kaisa was best deck and everyone was dooming about Kaisa.
This is true. All right, so
Ooh.
Piercing Light here is going to get fired off. Was considering using it twice just to deal with this Draven, but instead going to go ahead and take out both the Treasure Hunter and the Tide Turner. Tide Turner.
Yeah.
And so now only 2 gold tokens going to be valued off of this Tide Turner, which is probably the best case scenario he could have asked for. Yeah, I mean, Eric is still at 0 points, and Andrew's just racking up these points as these turns continue. So now Treasure Hunter going to come down, going to discard a sneaky deckhand. And I think Eric Liu is just going to go ahead and get that second point while he has that opportunity. So at least next turn, he's very likely to be on 3 points and will be able to ready 2 runes. So does threaten potential rebuke or something else, but we do know that that was off the top. So Andrew doesn't have to worry about something like a fight or flight too seriously, although that is probably in the back of his mind.
I'm kind of surprised that he did kill the Treasure Hunter over the Draven because he does have an Ezreal on the board. Well, he tapped out, right? So I guess he couldn't. He did end up using all of his energy, so did not have any extra energy to repeat the Piercing Light and not pay the power costs. So you would have had to pay the power costs and not pay the energy costs, which feels bad, deramping. So opting to save some resources for the next few turns. Here comes the Draven, paying the Draven extra cost to gain 2 might, get a gold token and a draw. That unit is so efficient. It's quite crazy.
Yeah, and it is going to strip away one of those Kaisas, so that is some good news here for Eric.
Ooh, Toop doesn't know about the llama.
He doesn't know about the llama drama?
Yeah, he ain't gonna find out either.
Nope.
That is for me to know and you to wish you knew.
That is calamitous.
That is quite
Calamitous.
Calamitous.
Yes.
Accelerated Kaisa coming out. Looks like Andrew will be drawing 3 cards this turn. Yes, refilling that hand. I see a hard bargain, and I saw absolutely nothing else.
So just moving up the 2 runes that he wants to ready at the end of his turn, and Andrew just deciding if there's anything else he wants to do with these 3 runes available. We'll decide to fire off a stack deck first just to see if he can find something like a falling star. He does manage to find it, so we'll have to see if he fires it off here, but it really is only going to be able to take out this Ezreal as, well, he was able to get rid of everything else, so.
I mean, I wouldn't hate doing that, to be honest. Eric is pretty far behind in everything, and it requires a miracle turn to come back from. And if you do kill the Ezreal, the miracle turn's harder to get to.
Absolutely.
So let's see what Andrew opts to do here. Thinking.
Yeah. I will say this is, I think, the first time this series that Draven has drawn more than 1 card in a single game before the end of the game.
I think he drew 2. Did he not?
I think it was the final turn where he drew an additional card is what I'm getting at.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it. And here, okay, so killing the battering ram.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I mean, also a good opportunity here to clean up the board state a little bit. What can Eric piece together on this ever so important turn here? This is going to decide a lot because if Andrew is able to hold on to at least one of these battlefields, he'll go up to 6, can pull everything back and set up for a big push onto 8.
Yep. So 2 runes going to be exhausted.
Bushwhack.
Have to assume it's the Bushwhack here. Ooh. We do see a Rasa in hand.
Oh,
no, it's a Vi. So just going to set up for that final turn. We'll be able to draw an additional card off this Jinx, so that second card will be picked up by this Jinx on this following turn. So Andrew will be at 7 points, but he's got a full grip of cards, and he will be able to ready his runes fully, which means that Eric is in a heap of trouble. If there is something like a second falling star, this Ezreal and this Vi are going to go away as well, which means that this game will be pretty much fully wrapped up if that is the case. So the fact that this Falling Star has left Andrew's hand, I felt like Eric gave Eric a little bit of reprievance and safety to feel like he could play that Vi then and there. So now Andrew has to decide if he has some sort of answers to what's going on.
I mean, what's pretty scary here for me is, let's say Andrew does double retreat, which I imagine you would. Well, it's a little, maybe you don't, because you don't want Eric to be able to load all of his might on one battlefield. You want to say you have to split it up, and then it gets easier to crack. But that Kaisa, if it conquers, it's going to draw 3 cards on the next turn if you do pull back. But looks like he's not going. Oh. Okay.
No, I like this a lot, actually. See, the reason for him doing this here is it's just to force Eric to have to go onto these battlefields, but also, if he is going to go onto the battlefield, he can just sack one of the guys if it's a unit that he doesn't want there, which will force Eric to commit even further. So, not a bad line here. I mean, I think there are better uses of the Overzealous fans overall. But I think right now with what Andrew has in hand, he feels fairly confident that he will be able to take it on that following turn. So just taking out the lines that really force Eric to split up his battlefield as much as possible. And yeah, I mean, not a bad place to be. He will be able to draw an additional card off this Jinx. Does find that Super Mega Death Rocket that I think he's been looking for this entire game. And will be able to conquer one of these battlefields and get rid of, very likely, at least one of these units. We do know that he is on that hard bargain in hand. So, yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how Eric decides to navigate this turn, because that hard bargain really will prove to be a bit of a hindrance.
Yeah, it would have been really nice for Eric if he had found another piercing light. I don't know how many he plays, but I mean, only being able to deal with these fans and not the backline as well makes it a little bit spooky, especially knowing Andrew plays Darius. Oh, you would have loved to draw those cards. Unfortunate.
Yep. I think call shot would have been exactly what that doctor ordered, but unfortunately for him, doesn't find it, but does have access to that Super Mega Death Rocket, so we'll fire it off here.
I am a little bit surprised at the sequencing, right?
No, I think this way he's playing around the hard bargain. He knows he's not going to be able to fire it off the second time, so just trying to play around it as best as possible. And then this way he can potentially hold on for one more turn, because he does still need to deal with this Overzealous fan, but that Vi won't be able to take it. So with that, Rasa.
Well, my thought is it's almost guaranteed Andrew's going to give up one of these, so you go for the Mega Death Rock. This all being said, Eric knows his deck infinitely better than me. He is the best Jinx player probably in the world right now. But my initial thought is you're going to go Death Rocket onto a backline, then shove up, and then you just get to add it back, right? But, all right, so going with the Vi, and does pull it back, and now push up the Rasa. So Eric did choose to tap out for that, and now is opting if he would like to add back the rocket, and I guess he cannot. He has no cards in hand, does he? Can you add it back?
He has one card in hand.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got a Rebuke, which I think he'd much rather hold on to here.
Okay.
So.
Oh, absolutely. If he has a Rebuke, that could be the saving grace here, if he does have a Rebuke.
So he's going to go ahead and send in this Draven. And now Eric has to decide whether or not he wants to keep that Ezreal alive. Looks like that's not going to be the case. Why did he draw 2? Oh, right, because he's at 7 points.
Yes.
Okay. And then he does have that Falling Star. So that Falling Star might actually be the death knell here. Being able to get rid of this Vi might just be good enough. He's going to go ahead and use that Ride the Wind.
Yeah, I think the Ride the Wind is the scarier card, because now you cannot... No longer can you deal with... Oh, this was a really weird way to play this. Oh, it doesn't matter.
GG's.
Right.
So very well played here from Eric, but just not enough to be able to deal with everything that Andrew had going on, especially in game number 3. Kind of a bit of a slow start. Didn't find any stacked decks or called shots in game number 3. So yeah, because of it, it feels like Eric just did not have what was needed to be able to finish that game. And unfortunately for him, he did hit the one call shot he would have drawn because of that minefield.
Yeah, it is pretty unfortunate. I was talking with Eric a little bit on before this round, and we were talking about the differences between the Draven Miracle and the Jinx Miracle deck, and he said one of the, and I'm going to apologize to Eric if he watches this back and I'm totally butchering what he said, but I believe what he said is that the Jinx deck, Miracle deck, actually has a better matchup into some of these control decks because of you have the Mega Death Rocket, it can pick off the back line, but a little bit worse of a Draven matchup. So, though I will say, Draven into Draven, that should be a 50% matchup, you'd hope. But unfortunately, Jinx is not Draven, so a little bit worse than that.
Yeah, a little bit worse wear, and unfortunately for him, not going to be able to close out game number 3 here. Game number 1, it felt like he really didn't have anything to really gain control of that, and then game number 3, it did feel close, but I think if he just had a couple of different cards, he might have been able to get there. And unfortunately for him, he's not on something like Draven to be able to draw additional cards for winning combat. But yeah, I think both of these players played really well at avoiding combat when needed to. But unfortunately for Eric, that is going to be the end of the line. Will is able to make it to a top 8 finish, so we'll be able to take a huge piece of that 25K pie,
Absolutely.
which is nice to hear. And very well played here from the Jinx player, just showcasing exactly why he's one of the best Jinxes in the world.
Yeah, do we have a graphic for the top cut that we can look at and see some of the matchups that are going on?
Let's take a look here. We'll see if it's all set up. Doesn't look like it is. Yeah, but we do have the bracket set up, so we're just going to pull that up real quick. So right here we had the Eric versus Andrew Barnett finisher right here, and then it's Koku versus Emil. Emil was performing incredibly well during the Swiss. Just did, I think he ID'd just to be able to get himself to that top finish. I'm not sure. I think once you go 6-0, you can just ID twice, and then you're not going to get top seed, but you are for sure going to make it to that top cut. So,
yeah, and my highlight of the top cut, outside of Eric, of course, was the 5th-seeded Volleybear, who unfortunately barely lost. Again, shout-outs to Skylar. I did watch his games, and it was incredible watching him pilot his way through that.
I thought you were going to say that you got to see Draven representation.
Oh, you're right. You know, shout-outs to... Which Draven do I pick?
Draven.
Shout-outs to my boy Draven and his brother Darius, and...
Yeah,
I really hope that they can, take this one home. It's a uphill battle. Only Dravens, and I mean,
and
3-on-1.
Draven.
Like, can 3 Dravens beat the one lonely Aurelia? I don't know.
Who will win, 3 Dravens or 1 Aurelia?
Okay, if this is League of Legends, it's probably the Aurelia, but
yeah, we'll have to find out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So for real though, guys, it is going to be exciting to see how the rest of the series pans out. Hopefully, we'll be able to get to see the Aurelia matchup. But it looks like that's not going to be the case. So it is, in fact, the League of Draven.
Absolutely, we have a lot of Dravens, and can Draven come out on top?
I don't know, Draven.
Well, sounds like we got a lot of spinning axes ahead of us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know if you wanted to see Draven, but you will see Draven.
Absolutely. I will say I hope there's a little bit of variety in the Draven variants. If we see some miracles, some mid-range, I know we will see at least one mid-range. And
yeah, and we do know that at least one of them, if not 2 of them, are on Detonate.
Ooh,
so
okay, something at least a little bit different. So
yeah, some spice within the not so spice. Like if this is like mayonnaise, like one of these is at least spicy mayonnaise.
Yeah, Chipotle mayo.
There you go.
I love Chipotle mayo. That's really good.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right. When we're back, we will get to see this top 4 finish, but we'll send it off to the BRB screen here shortly, and we'll be back very soon.
Sounds good.
and the semifinals.
Yes, here we are.
Yeah. Guess who's playing?
It's got to be like Garen, maybe.
Draven. Yeah.
Oh, I was close.
Yeah, you're close.
It was like almost.
They had an R and an A and an E and an N, so there were some letters.
No V.
No V.
Alexa, play
yeah.
Despacito.
Alexa, play Despacito.
Yeah, but anyways, so hopping in, we do get another Draven mirror match, as we knew this was going to happen. But we get Andrew up against the second seed, Andrew. Yes. You know
We
what
got D and B.
you know what we can do? Let's add another Draven to the screen.
Yeah, that's actually how many Dravens are left.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, we're gonna find out
I was going to say, don't want to spoil that.
who the last Draven is.
Yes. I really do like Andrew, and I'm just going to say Andrew and point at the screen. I really like Andrew's sleeves, the Darth Vader ones. Those are pretty cool. I can't
Andrew
tell what
B.
the other one is. What is that?
That's One Piece. That's Ace.
And what is that?
That's One Piece. That's I forget her name, but she's like one of the spooky ladies from the
Spooky?
Thriller Bark.
That's the one with, what's his name? Gecko.
Gecko Moria, yeah.
Yeah, I remember him because he looked weird.
Yeah, he's cool.
And also, I hated his card in the One Piece TCG.
He was not balanced.
I love when my black deck goes, how can I fit Gecko into it?
My black deck kind of sucks, but I put Gecko and then I go, brrr!
I go Gecko into Rebecca into, yay. Anyways.
Yeah, that's like what's happening now, but for
Yep.
for the Bounded Rift.
Oh,
I
no.
can't think of any good jokes right now. I'm trying.
Look, one of the chatters has died on a hill.
On his Jinx Hill.
Alexa, play Despacito.
I'm Sasuke.
Alexa, play.
Sasuke Sito.
I was gonna try and say one of the Naruto themes, but I don't actually know what they're called.
So fun fact, I don't really know anything about Naruto.
Oh yeah, did Sasuke come to you in a dream?
No, my friend was a huge Naruto fan, and I
Okay.
was trying to help him come up with gamer tag.
Okay.
And so I was like, what about Sasuke? He's like, no, that's too edgy. And I was like, no, okay, but what about Sauce K? And then he looked at me and he was just like, no.
Okay.
He was annoyed. And so I changed my name to annoy him. And then I just kind of kept it.
I mean, that's how my email worked, and I'm not gonna dox myself on stream, but I have an email that I made in middle school, and it's awful. It is very, very bad.
Yeah, same here.
And every time I have to enter my email somewhere or tell worse, say it over the phone, I'm like, don't judge.
Yep.
And then I say it.
Yep, I'm with you.
And they always get a chuckle out of it. So
Dude, when I was 20, I made a super edgy email. It's not like offensive or anything. It's just like, like I thought I was like really hip and cool. Mm-hmm. And like now, 14 years later, I'm like, ugh, why did I do that?
yeah, the things we do when we were young.
Yeah.
So it looks like this is probably either the Detonate or the Miracle Draven versus mid-range.
Yeah, just based off of the
Battlefield.
Yep.
Yeah. So you know what? Let's click something. We haven't clicked something in a while.
Well, now we don't know if they're playing Draven.
Sorry, Draven does need his third brother on the field. You think they're like twins?
They're
Maybe
clones.
Triplets?
Clones.
That's unfortunate. Well, there is
Draven
only
got
one Draven.
access to some Hextech cloning technology, and here we are.
Have you seen the mods for League that makes like all the characters have Draven heads?
No, but that's amazing.
Yeah, I know. That's what I feel like right now. It's like
I liked the Majin Buu Zack mod. That was funny.
that exists. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool. Do you use mods when you play?
No.
Oh, okay. I use one.
Do you?
Yeah, I play.
I'm always like afraid that they're like jacked with viruses.
Oh, it's just there's a mod loader that makes it pretty safe. The one I use the most, and I actually I touched it up. I made some enhancements to it because it already existed.
He enhanced the enhancing.
It was Yumi Twitch, so it takes Twitch and then it turns them into Yumi. and Yumi has an AK-47.
So what is that? That's like Pal World.
I don't know. It's
Like
well,
because
it-
Pal World is Pokemon with guns, and so you just Pal Worlded Yumi.
well, it's like a demented Yumi. Like it's not proportioned right. It has like stretched.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But anyways, so we do have the merchant come up. I'm surprised at pushing up onto the Reavers over the Zon, but maybe doesn't. I guess Andrew did start with a treasure hunter, and this is one of the issues with starting treasure hunter when other people are not playing treasure hunter, is you don't actually threaten their 2-drops at all. You cannot go in for a trade or anything. You end up just dying.
Well, that's not true. He can go into the Reaver's row and try and bully him out of it. And I think Andrew right here, feels fairly confident that Andrew does have something like a spinning axe. So he just kind of wants to force that spinning axe to come down right now, and Andrew will have to oblige. So we'll have to see if that is going to be the case. That is going to be the case, in fact. And so there it is. But now Andrew does have to recycle a rune to do so, but we'll be able to draw a card and at least get rid of this traveling merchant.
Yeah. Yep. So even though a gold was generated, a rune was paid.
Are they selling that playmat anywhere? Yes, we are. You can come by the booth. We have a whole bunch of people standing there right now to go ahead and sell them to you. But yeah, you just got to go and ask. But yeah, it's there. And then also, I believe they have it on the website. Never mind. Don't quote me on that. I'm not going to say that. Don't trust me.
I like the art. It's pretty nice looking.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I will say it definitely looks better than the Summoner Skirmish playmats. I am not a huge fan of the ones that they've done yet. Hopefully they do some cool ones in the future, though.
Yeah, the Blitzcrank one was kind of lame.
Yeah. I want them to do, like, Twitch as Yumi.
With an AK-47.
With an AK-47. Surely they would do that one, just for me. Pretty unlikely. I will say I'm really looking forward to when they do end up doing alt arts, because I think they've already kind of not hinted, but they've shown they can do it with the Vegas promo for just participation. Like, it's a participation promo. A lot of people got that.
I like my participation trophy.
Yes, especially when it is shiny and worth money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mine's graded.
Ooh, that's pretty fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty shiny.
All right, so Ty Turner is going to come down, give Andrew a second gold token to work with on this following turn. But now Andrew D has to figure out how to respond in kind. I think he wasn't ready to lose that traveling merchant. He just was like, okay, have the answer. And unfortunately for D, he did. So he's not Monkey D. Luffy. He's Andrew D. Luffy, which is different than Andrew B. Luffy.
You know what I saw on Twitter that was really funny? Sorry, I'm going back to alt arts. I saw someone post it was a made up promo for Lille. I think it was for Lille because it's in French, and it was repost, except it was 2 baguettes crossed.
That is wonderfully dumb, actually.
I was like, that is incredible.
I hope these guys don't ever commentate again.
You have to understand, we are after so much Draven. But anyway.
There's too many dad jokes for Salve to deal with right now.
Absolutely. So Andrew, a couple stack decks later, I wonder if we will see like a battering ram this turn, if he is playing them. Has gone through a bunch of cards. Couple stack decks. I don't think I saw a called shot yet. The Reaver's Road trigger comes back, pulls back the Tide Turner, gets the gold token and the draw.
Not sure what the 2 is. Oh, that's how many points he has. Okay.
That's the point.
So yeah, I mean, Andrew has a full group of cards. Can't quite see what they are, so can't really talk about that too much. But Andrew B, we'll have to figure out really how to deal with this Draven right now. I mean, he has his own Draven, but he doesn't have it on the board as of yet. So he has to have something like a spinning axe to be able to deal with it. And I do see a battering ram in hand, so I feel like we can at this point fully confirm that D is on. Andrew D is on.
There you go.
Oh no, that was the spell count. Okay.
Yes. So there goes the battering ram. Still one rune up. Can't really imagine we see anything else here. Probably just pass it over, saying, I'm going to take control of that Reavers, and you are not going anywhere near it. Andrew does only have 6 might developed with the Treasure Hunter with the Axe, plus the Tide Turner. And we do know Andrew does play Darius's, but should not have the runes for that, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, going up to 6. You'd need a stack deck plus a Darius. Does have access to the treasure tokens. Oh, I guess you could play Called Shot plus Darius, but I'm fairly sure, Andrew, we have not seen any Called Shots, right? He is on the mid-range version.
Yeah, I don't know that he's on any, but I don't even think he's on the Ezreals.
Yeah, mid-range, right? Mid-range does play Ezreal, yeah.
Okay. So, going to exhaust one more rune.
Oh, okay. Wow.
No, never mind.
Okay.
Okay, so I think he's going to be a little bit patient. I think he wants to hold on to that stack deck for the following turn. Maybe has something like another battering ram in the wait that he wants to utilize. So now Andrew B is going to have to figure out how to really overtake this Reaver's row for the time being. I think Andrew just wants to go into that Zon Warrens with just that Tide Turner, and then maybe he'll hold off for a turn or two before he can really deal with what's going on Andrew D's side of the board. Because there is just one rune available, but I just don't see how Andrew B is going to have to deal with this without something like a Rebuke. I guess he does have the 2 gold tokens to really just kind of mitigate the negative effects of that Rebuke. So that could be the situation that he's in.
We do know that he plays Falling Star, right? So there is like a Falling Star option. That being said, I don't really... I feel like you're just going to say, okay, that's fine, and then I'm going to go onto the other battlefield. Yeah, so which seems to be the case for now. If you did have like a Falling Star, you could go Falling Star onto Draven or better, well, your choice. I guess it's probably Draven is better. And then go up and push Tide Turner Treasure Hunter, and that's 6/5. Andrew is tapped out, but that does give him the opportunity to retreat off with the Reavers and then potentially contest the Zon on the next turn.
Yeah. So it's going to be a Ferris Forerunner for now, and I like this patient play. Like he just doesn't really have anything to do, like we had mentioned, to actually interact with Andrew D's side of the board, and so now Andrew D can just go ahead and decide to pass for the time being. I mean, he could even retreat one of the 2 units, and then that way, if there is some shenanigans going on, he could just retreat the other one through that Reaver row effect, allowing that draw to really complete. So the gold token going to get consumed here by this Ezreal, and then very likely allow something like another Called Shot to be played. But Scrap Heap is going to be discarded, which means that Andrew gets to discard or draw an additional set of cards. And he could be on this Detonate version. I'm not sure. Scrap Heap does kind of lead me to believe that he is leaning towards it. I haven't seen him utilize anything like a Fight or Flight nor Treasure Trove yet. So I don't know, but I do see a Call Shot in his hand. So it could be just digging for those seals. Not sure.
Wow, okay. Another Ezreal.
Yeah. Another Ezreal is going to get played.
All right. Getting rid of a Nocturne. Infinite cards, no Jutsu. Like you said, I see a Called Shot. Only 2 cards played this turn so far, so nothing like a Battering Ram can be played yet. Could play like a... I don't think we can play a Rasa yet either. Yeah, so just opting to pull back. I'm surprised he hasn't seen any seals yet, if he does play them. As we've dug pretty deep here. All right, so the board is open here for Andrew B to push up if he would like to do so. I would imagine that we do see the Forerunner pushed up somewhere. That's something you're not super upset about losing, as it is going to float into the tokens. But in the mirror match, you do need to be aware of the Rebuke card. In fact, I generally see it just not as a super powerful mirror card, specifically because you do see potentially multiple Rebukes by the end game. You can even just fight or flight it every single turn you're going for combat. You have 3 of them. You can easily win the game in 3 pushes. That's 6 points there if you're going double score on both. Yes, there was one Aurelia in top 8. Unfortunately, they did lose in the round of 8. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guess who they
So-
lost to?
Who?
Draven.
Incredible. Incredible stuff. Unfortunate.
And you know who made it to the finals?
Can't spoil it.
Draven.
He spoiled it. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. I do have a spoiler. And
Yeah.
co-commentating with me, but we will have to deal with that.
I'm sorry, chat. Listen, I really wish we could have gotten to see at least the Jinx for one more round, but instead we have Draven versus Draven versus Draven versus Draven.
Yep.
But no, in all honesty, I mean, it is exciting to see different flavors of Draven. I think that Riot does need to do something to kind of answer what's going on here because, I mean, even if it is Draven, the fact that it is Draven is you know, like something needs to be looked at. Maybe it's the Draven signature card, maybe it's Draven himself, maybe it's the called shot, maybe it's the Ezreal's, but mid range is making it, Detonate's making it. Something needs to get dealt with.
See, this person's smart in the chat. Ban stack deck.
Yo, Fritz has actually been the one to say that stack deck needs to get hit.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I am a stacked deck. See, thank you. That is my reasoning as well. I think that you need to hit all the purple decks. You can't just hit the miracle variants. Because if we looked at just this match right here, Andrew is in the top 4, and he plays 0. Well, as far as I'm aware,
He plays stack deck.
No, plays 0 called shots.
Oh, called
So
shots.
if you ban called shot, I mean, Andrew B's deck is just as good as it was before. So this is a turn for Andrew where he potentially needs to deal with the Reaver's Row. I mean, you do have double Ezreal set up. You have no seals, though. So going for the big miracle turn could be a bit expensive. I know we saw at least one call shot in the hand.
Yeah, we do know that there is a call shot in hand. We also know that there is a rebuke in hand. And I did see some glimmers of a fight or flight as well.
Yeah.
So he does actually have the opportunity to overtake this battlefield, but that's only a temporary issue or a temporary thing. So I think he just wants to try and take on the Zon Warrens for the time being, get himself up to his 4th point. And then, yeah, just kind of figure out what he wants to do with the rest of this turn. That Overzealous fan really isn't doing much for now. And while unfortunately for him, he has not seen any of his purple seals. And I think at this point, he just has to fire off one of these called shots, hopefully find something to do in these next couple of turns. Because right now, if this game continues, Andrew will just get further and further ahead. Yeah, so D needs to figure out exactly what happens, but okay, Overzealous fan going to be the card that gets exhausted or played here, just to protect that Ezreal for a little bit longer. It means that Nox Soulful isn't going to be able to get over this Ezreal, and it means that Andrew D will be able to draw a card if he decides to do so. And a second Overzealous fan, that means all 3 were in his hand to begin with. I mean, yeah, sure, just holding the line for now, playing a little bit patiently, and hopefully finding something a little bit later on.
Yeah, you don't have to push up on this turn. This is a fairly safe turn to not do so, as you can make the push on the next turn when Andrew B does, well, could go to 6. It's a little bit hard to push through double fan. You'd need like multiple fighter flights or more units, because right now there's just Hopeful plus Tide Turner. Though Andrew does play Darius, he plays Kaisa, so plenty of options for Accelerate.
Absolutely. And I did see that Seal of Discord right there, and it comes down. So, yeah, Andrew D going to have to figure out how to deal with this.
1, 2, 3.
Andrew B, oh my gosh, going to figure out how to deal with this, because I do believe that the other card that he picked up with that called shot was Rasa. So he might even just opt to play it right now, get himself a little bit of further backline.
Yeah, and now he can play out the Rams and such, as we played quite a few cards this turn. So here goes the Rasa, the Ram, and that is quite a hefty backline built up. No, the other semifinal is Draven. So unfortunately, all top 4 is Draven.
It means, though, that you will at least get to see one Draven in the final.
This is true.
Yeah, at least one.
In case anybody out there was disappointed by the lack of Draven so far. Me too.
I need to stop making these jokes because it sounds like I'm dooming at this point, but I promise
No,
I'm
it's
really
just
not.
being
It's
silly.
just-
See,
I think it's funny.
I think it's funny as well. I actually don't mind Draven, so I
You like
Personally,
mirror matches, though. That's
I
the
like
thing.
mirror matches. I like seeing high-level players play the same deck against each other, so I don't mind them too much. That being said, I totally understand why people don't like them, and I don't think there's anything wrong with disliking them. I think it's pretty likely that Riot does something, but I don't think the game is unplayable without a hit. So that is my hot take. By all means, that I'm just saying that for me. Okay, going up. This is representing something in hand, right? This is not. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like this a lot. He just wants to win the combat. There could be some sort of cheeky things that Andrew B could be doing. We don't know if he has a second spinning axe in hand, so just playing around that capability, I think, is very smart here. It does mean that Andrew B could have something like a Kai'Sa or a Darius, and he does. So that does mean that this Ezreal does get to be overtaken here. And now Andrew B will be at 6 points, so Andrew D has to figure out something this turn. If he does not, this game will be over on that following turn. So Andrew D down to about 7 runes on that following turn, which doesn't give him a lot of opportunity to work with. But
8 runes.
yes, 8 runes on the
Yes,
following turn.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
you're
yes,
right.
yes.
Yeah, he's
You're
at
good,
6.
you're good.
I counted 5, and yeah, so I'm wrong. But still, regardless of that fact, Andrew B in a very commanding position overall, and Andrew D is going to have to figure out how to get over everything that Andrew B has set up.
I think the scariest thing for me is actually the fact that Andrew B was able to push up and clear the battlefield and still have 2 runes up. So now he's representing like a rebuke
Or a fight or flight.
or a fighter. Yes. Though I think he does have a hidden there, does he? Okay. I didn't see it, but there is a hidden at the Reavers.
Is that a hidden?
I think so.
I think so.
Because his battlefield sleeve is not
Yeah, I think you're right.
blue. So I would guess that.
A hidden card.
Who would have guessed? Personally, I put my hidden cards under the mat so they can't see them.
That's thematic.
Yeah, exactly. I play Teemo and I hide my cards. And then, when they go up to push it up, I'm like, haha, fall into my trap, my noxious trap. But anyway, so it does pass over to Andrew D. Like Sasuke said, this is the big turn. You do need to at least clear off one battlefield. I think it's pretty easy to clear off the Darius. But you will have to deal with this Reaver's Row at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah, this River's Row is a big problem right now, and I think Andrew D kind of recognizes that fact. So he's just going to go ahead and deal with this Zon Warrens for the time being, but it is going to cost him several cards to be able to do so. And yeah, there it is. He's going to send the Rasa, the Battering Ram, and that Traveling Merchant. And that means that Andrew B, if he decides, will be able to just get rid of at least one, potentially even both of them onto this turn. And yep, just going to go ahead and choose to get rid of that Battering Ram and leave both the Merchant and... okay.
Yep, so leaving the Merchant Rasa. Do I see a Ride the Wind in his hand? I can't quite tell. It's a little bit dark. Wow, okay, discarding a Fizz.
Yeah, that tells me that he wants every single card in his hand for the time being.
Yeah.
So that Battering Ram in the base, a Draven, as well as an Ezreal in the base, still not quite enough to overtake what is happening on that Reaver's Row. 10, 16, 18 might that he has to answer with at minimum.
I see a Rebuke. I see a Hard Bargain. I think I saw a... I see a 4 cost in that. I can't tell what it is. Oh, okay. There's a Nocturne. That is a good start.
That is something. So 4 might going to be added. And I like adding it here to this on Warrens. It has that ganking, so you don't actually have to worry about it being at the battlefield for the time being.
Yeah, that might even be a signal that he is just going to go for the hold this turn and say, all right, I will deal with this Reavers on the next turn. What does make that a little bit scary is it does mean Andrew B will just have all of his runes potentially and build up the defenses even more so. Oh, Piercing Light. This card's pretty good. I like this card a lot, especially with the Ezra double. Oh, sorry, only one Ezra on the board now, but you still get to remove a lot here.
Yeah. So you only have to recycle one rune, which is a saving grace, but this piercing light will be able to interact with both that hopeful and potentially that tide turner in that back line, as well as be able to strip away that treasure hunter. So instead, he's actually looking to get rid of that overzealous fan. I don't hate that at all. Both choices do feel pretty good.
Did he point at the treasure hunter twice?
He pointed at the Noxus Hopeful and the treasure hunter, so just wants to get rid of both of those units. Would rather deal with
he did. See?
the spinning axe as well as that overzealous fan.
So now spinning axe is most likely going
Or
to die
something.
unless Andrew B is playing angle shot, which is pretty unlikely. Have not seen that in too many decks or too many Draven lists. Still 3 runes up. I have not keeping track of how many cards have been played this turn, so I don't know if we can drop battering rams yet.
Seal, piercing.
Did he play seal this turn?
Seal, piercing light. He played one seal.
Okay.
So yeah, because he had the first seal. He used the first seal to play the second seal. Then he used the second seal to play the nocturne, and then he used the nocturne.
So he did play the nocturne as well.
Yeah, so 3.
Nocturne, stack deck. Wait, nocturne, stack deck,
Piercing light.
piercing light, and you said seal. So 4.
4. Yeah, you're right. Yep, and then Andrew has a 5 marked on his die, so I assume he's at 5 points, not 4.
Yes. It was both players on even going into this turn, so no, I believe he was thinking and targeted the fan and ended up changing his mind and got rid of the treasure hunter with the axe on it. And which does make a little bit more sense if he is opting to go to hold here. Oh, wow. Okay, double Rasa. That is a lot of might. Double Rasa in the base. So really setting up for a big push next turn onto that Reavers.
Yeah, I think this is where that where Bushwhack really tends to come in handy, but the fact that it's not available in hand is kind of a big punish for him. So, yeah, I mean, Andrew isn't really going to be able to take over this battlefield unless he's got a set of miracles that just don't really exist in this archetype of Draven. So I expect to see Andrew just continue to play it slow here. He's at 7 points. He might even just continue to bolster up this Reaver's row and play this slowly here. Just might even drop that Vanquisher into the Reaver's row, move the Tide Turner into that Reaver's row, and just really hold it for as much as he possibly can. And while there is a plethora of answers at Andrew D's disposal, there is also a plethora of answers available for Andrew B. I would argue more so because he hasn't actually had to dump his hand.
Yeah, that is true. And there are still other options as well. Like you can go Tide Turner, pull back a Forerunner and stuff if you did want to go for game this turn. The only thing to really keep in mind is Andrew D did save 3 runes, and that 2 rune mark is pretty notorious for the rebukes, for the fighter flights. A lot of cards there that are a little bit spooky. I would not be surprised if maybe he doesn't. Oh, okay, that's a very good one.
So Falling Star going to be able to deal with a couple of things here. The Ezreal as well as that Traveling Merchant, which soften things up. Or he might even just go ahead and get rid of the Urasa on the Zon Warrens. He's still got a ton of runes to work with, so if there is something like a Darius that he can play just to kind of retake that battlefield, it would make sense to me. I mean, Andrew D is not at 6 points yet, so he's not too concerned with what's going on, and instead actually just going to use it to get rid of the Nocturne. Doesn't want that ganking happening.
Yep, trying to limit the next turn a little bit. Maybe potentially going for a push here. Yeah, okay, wow. Okay, so Rebuke onto the Merchant, or onto the Rasa, trade away the Merchant, and then I can only imagine he has another push in hand here. There you go. And that'll be the game. Andrew does end up... Andrew ends up taking it against Andrew.
Wait, who won?
Andrew.
Oh.
Draven.
Oh.
Yeah.
That narrowed it down. Andrew on Draven. That's who won.
Yep, so the hard bargain into the Falling Star ended up being a bit rough there, as it did end up meaning that Andrew
On
So
Draven.
confusing. Andrew on Draven wasn't able to take it with the Conquer.
Yeah, and you know who he beat actually just in game number 1? Andrew on Draven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ezreal and Battering Ram.
Mm-hmm.
All these cool things.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Anyways, going to game 2 here. I'm not quite sure what I would expect from game 2. Oh, wow. Is that double rebuke inside? So maybe only one rebuke in the main deck for
You know,
Andrew D.
okay, this might be a super hot take, but low
let's hear it.
key, is Rasa the ban?
I don't hate it. I don't like cards that play themselves for free, even with a little bit of setup. I think that paired with enough card draw is an issue. So the only thing that makes me hesitate is this kind of card that just like plays itself is only good if you can back it up with ways to find more cards, because otherwise it's just like, oh, I play a guy, right? The thing that makes it broken in Draven, and I say broken, the thing that makes it very strong in a lot of these purple decks is because they're backing it up with ways to like replace it. So I called shot, I get 2 cards I can play. If I play one of them for free, I still am a net neutral in cards. But if it was like, let's say this was, I'm going to give it an example of a deck with 0 draw, Volley Bear, and Volley Bear had Rasa in it, and it was just like dump Rasa, dump Rasa, dump Rasa. Well, Volley has no cards in hand then. And then you're just like, I'm playing with the Rasas on board. So that's my opinion there.
K-Dragon, all right? Draw 4.
Yeah, you play Kindergarten.
That's his name now?
Was it you who said that?
No,
Or was it Toop?
probably
It was
Toops.
probably Toops. But he.
I am the king of dad jokes. Toops is the king of actual jokes.
Yeah, he called the. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna pronounce this now.
K-Dragon.
It is the dragon. I do like that the card pool is small enough right now that I can type KA and it comes up still.
K-Dragon. Yeah, K-Dragon. K-Dragon.
No, there's an R there. Cadragon. That's how I would guess.
Oh,
But
okay, Cadragon. Sure, that sounds actually
Cadragon,
better.
not kindergarten. I have no idea
That was such a
how he
Toops
got
thing.
kindergarten out of that. But that card does draw cards. You are correct. Absolutely. And we saw it used to great effect by the volley player who did make top 16, which was very impressive. I do love seeing the rogue decks make it up there. And volley, I mean, might not even be rogue. That might just be like not competitive in a general sense.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I love the deck. I think it's cool. I am a big, what's the word for it, Timmy? I love seeing cool things happen, even if it's not good.
Yeah.
But and volley is kind of the epitome of that. It's like big unit, big unit, big unit. And even his signature spell is big blast. Volley blast.
Yes.
And then kills the battlefield.
Blast. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna do that a lot if I keep doing that.
Okay, so moving on to game 2, it looks like both players are finishing up. Oh, I lied. Andrew's still pile shuffling, so.
Oh. The one on the Draven, right?
Yes, the Draven is still pile shuffling. So this is something that if you are playing, you should take note of and make sure your opponent does correctly, is your champion does need to be on the outside of your legend. So Andrew has it. One of the Andrews has it switched here.
Why does it need to be on the outside?
Because it makes it very clear that it is not in the playfield. And the board state gets a little bit messy when you have the Miracle Draven putting 3 million units on the board. So when you separate it with the legend, it makes it very clear that it is not in the on the battlefield. So
For me, it's like it just looks ugly.
oh, I agree, but it makes it more clear. So
I don't like that.
I value the visual clarity, you know. All right, so I would not so there's the obelisk, there's the candlelit. I mean, there are nocturnes in the deck. Candlelit is kind of a gimme when you're going first.
It's true.
So I wonder what the confusion is here. Looks like they're discussing something about the battlefields.
Did he switch? I wasn't paying attention, actually. Is there a link to the bracket somewhere here? While this is getting fixed, why don't we just show the bracket?
Yes. Wonder if it's updated. It
And
is
then
not.
we can see what's going on.
So, despite our spoilers being given, we do not get. All right. So, as you guys can see, we had 6 Dravens and 6 Dravens in top 8, but top 16 was a little bit more varied. Dennis on the Kaisa, Sean on the Aurelia, Skylar on the Volibear, my fan caster favorite. And then we had Eric on the Jinx, Joseph on the Victor, and Alfredo on the Ezreal. Oh wait, and there's another little Victor down at the bottom. Hey, Frederick.
Yeah, there's 2 victors in the top 16.
Yeah, Frederick.
None of them made it to the top 8. They lost to Draven.
You know, my name is Frederick.
I thought it was Fritz.
It's a nickname. I got like a nickname for my nickname.
Okay. That confused me. I don't know why.
It's okay. It's okay. Anyways, so thankfully we do not get the spoiler on the results of the other match, though. That is a good thing.
Yeah. But here's a bit of a spoiler without the spoiler. Draven will win.
I don't know. I saw in China they did give a retroactive match win. They can do that.
How?
Maybe you didn't see that one. It was in the one where the Jax made, well, he didn't make top 8. I think it was the top 16 match with the Freebuke.
Whoa. That's quite a free rebuke on accident?
Yeah, it was an accident. But so the Draven player, I believe it's been a while ago. I know we talked about this on my podcast, but it was the Draven player ended up playing a rebuke and didn't pay the cost. And direct cause of this play was the Jax player lost.
Yeah.
And then they retroactively, after top 8 started, they said, okay, the Draven, you just get a match loss for the previous match, and Jax gets the top 8 pricing, I think is how it worked. I forget. But it was pretty crazy ruling, to be honest. I'd never been in a TCG that had given retroactive match losses. That's like totally new to me.
That is brand new, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like the players got it figured out.
Yep, and it looks like the battlefields are the same, so whatever was decided ended up being relatively minor. Players doing their mulligans now. I think I saw a battering ram in one of the Andrew's hands.
You know, that is still blowing my mind. It's Andrew versus Andrew, Draven versus Draven, and you got D and B, and the will of D, I hope, manages to bring us to a game 3.
Can we find the stack deck into the Noxus Hopeful? That is the ultimate turn 1 combo on Diabolisk.
Yep, and that was what Default was complaining about, actually.
That is true. Pretty powerful opener, but wow, not only misses the Noxus Hopeful, but misses a 2-drop.
No Nocturne either.
Yeah, quite an unfortunate one. And Andrew finds his treasure
drop
hunter.
for Andrew.
Ooh, that is a strong one.
Yep.
Hopeful treasure hunter.
That is a hopeful treasure hunter. Pun intended.
Absolutely. And 5 runes to work with. What will we develop? Because I can't imagine passing it back over again. Have to do something here.
I'm so glad we got chat doing it now.
All right. And Draven does get developed. Still 1 rune up. I believe Andrew here does get to go up to 2 points.
Whoa. You're talking about the Andrew on Draven, right?
Yes, the Andrew and Draven. The one with like Draven as their leader. Yes. The one playing purple and red.
Oh, yeah.
I got you.
Thanks.
All right, so Treasure Hunter getting pushed up onto Candlelit here, gets the gold token, and gets to look at the top 2.
Jokes aside, though, I do think Andrew B has been playing exceptionally well in both of these series. Managed to take down Eric Liu, who I think was playing phenomenally. It really just, I don't think either of those players in the previous series were playing any mistakes. It really just felt like Andrew B was able to just slowly but surely overpower him with the toolkit that he had available. And I think he's favored this matchup to be able to beat these Miracle decks fairly well, as here we are in a second series against a Miracle list, and it's really just popping off. And I think part of it really does come down to these treasure hunters able to make all these gold tokens for him.
Yeah, it's been a pretty high value card in these matchups. It doesn't help that Andrew D did end up obviously missing the turn 1 unit, which really does suck when you do go first and that happens, but that is kind of part of the game, right? Sometimes you're going to miss that, and you do have to play from behind. Andrew B taking his time here, thinking on what to add, or sorry, what to put on the top or bottom. I think that, yeah, that was the Candlelit resolving, and then pushing up the Hopeful onto the Obelisk. Falling Star, that's a pretty clean opening from Andrew.
Yeah, that is a very devastating scenario to be in here if you are Andrew D. So Andrew B is going to finish off his turn by playing a Draven Vanquisher in that Obelisk of Power, and is going to go ahead and even put down a hidden card. It's very likely to be that Fight or Flight, so worst case scenario, he can just bail out his Vanquisher. But now Andrew D has to figure out how to get himself out of this position. This was an incredibly difficult scenario to be in. He was at 6 runes this turn, so
yeah,
just double checking, making sure that everything is kosher.
That is a very aggressive end of the turn there, playing out the Draven, hiding a card. I feel like it's very aggressive. I don't know if you need to with Andrew D just not having a board at all. Obviously, Miracle can start to build up a board, but you need the Ezreals, you need the Seals, you need called shots. Like, there are a lot of pieces that get there. And if you do want to go ahead and start doing that, you also do need like the Bushwhack generally to. Ooh, that's a shiny rune.
That's a fancy seal.
Hey, that's 2 of the 3 pieces.
That is 2 of the 3 pieces to get us there. So, I mean, Andrew D not out of the woods just quite yet, but is finding a light at the end of this tunnel. So he does find himself a couple of called shots as well, and it's going to be up to Andrew B to be able to get rid of this Ezreal before too much damage is going to get dealt. But yeah, D off to a great position now, and this Piercing Light going to come down. 4 runes going to be exhausted. So and it looks like he's just going to clear that entire left battlefield if he chooses. Nope, just going to be that that Draven instead, and the Treasure Hunter.
Yeah, so what he's doing here is he is using the second trigger on the Draven for both. The second target, because the second target doesn't care if it's on a battlefield, so even if that is a fight or flight, he's unable to save it. It will kill the Draven regardless.
Yeah.
So it does save the Hopeful, as the damage does need to be. Oh wait, no? He only put 1 trigger on the Hopeful anyway, so he could not kill the Hopeful.
So made the mistake with the fight or flight there. Just misunderstood what Andrew D was saying. But
yeah,
I mean those do happen, especially in high pressure situations. But regardless, that Hopeful is going to stay safe.
Yep.
And he will be able to potentially just go ahead and move over onto that that Candlelit Sanctum. It would have been nice to have had that extra point, because now he will be fighting on odd points, and that could be a pretty costly mistake.
Yeah, that does set him a whole turn behind here, unless he does commit some like combo piece from hand, like another fight or flight, or he is on 5. It could technically be an accelerated Kaisa, though that feels pretty bad. Pretty bad here. You would be tapped out. Would get 1 draw, but and that was pretty much what Andrew D did want to see there. He cleared the battlefields. He stopped himself from falling 2 turns behind. Admittedly, it was slightly a misstep on Andrew B's side.
Yep.
But you do have to, when you have these weak openers like Andrew D did, is you have to put your opponent on making these misplays and do your best to facilitate them.
Absolutely. Yeah, Andrew D here in a pretty precarious position. I mean, he is starting to get himself out of this hole. And, I mean, it does feel nice to have this Seal of Discord here, as well as that Ezreal in play. So, very likely just going to go ahead and start, well, with the stacked deck. I thought it was going to be a called shot instead, but regardless.
Yeah, I actually like Andrew D's position here. I think he's in a pretty good spot now, as he did. The Ezreal lived a turn. The Seal is getting a lot of value now. You can have your miracle turn now. This can be the miracle turn if he opts to do it here. I wouldn't also hate just developing a little bit and saying I'm going to push up, because you essentially skipped a turn. Pushing the hopeful up onto the candle, it doesn't really do too much. Like, you're on odd points now. In fact, I think there's a world where you don't even push up the hopeful, but
We'll have to
not
see
the
if
worst thing in the
Andrew
world.
D decides to use that second called shot. He does have the Ezreal in hand. So
Wouldn't hate it. It depends, again, if he does want to have his miracle turn here to set up a bunch of battering rams, set up a Rasa. I know we did see at least one battering ram in the hand, I want to say. All right. Oh, there's the second Ezreal.
Yep.
So that is at, I want to say, 2 cards played.
And he's going to get rid of this Nocturne, which
It's
does
unfortunate.
feel
He
great
keeps drawing
to-
those.
Yeah, it is unfortunate to draw them, but it doesn't feel bad to just go ahead and discard them. And
Yeah.
with this second Ezreal, he will be able to get his first point. So it is going to slow down Andrew D just that little bit. And now, battering ram and a second battering ram getting
Yeah.
hit the field.
Yep, so pretty big turn there, developed 13 might of units. Only actually paid 1 power. So that is the power of the the power of the miracle deck.
That is the
Thank
power
you.
of the miracle deck indeed.
I'll be here all night. Well, at least for one more round. Okay, Thundersong coming down. That really does not feel good when you have to play the Thundersong just as a body. You're not comboing it with removal or a push to go with it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a sign of weakness from Andrew D.
For me, that just tells me that he has both of the Thunder Songs if he's running multiples in his hands. And the third Ezreal going to hit the field as well.
Wow.
So, yeah, really just digging through that entire deck there. Gets rid of that Traveling Merchant for the Ezreal. Picks 2 cards back up. And hopefully finds something a little bit more useful to do with his turn. Because, I mean, yes, he does have these battering rams and a couple of things to do. But that Brainer Thundersong as well as that Hopeful is a lot of might in that back line that he has to deal with.
You know what's crazy to me is comparing some of the cards from set 1 to set 2 is most of the set 1 cards do like one thing, right? And then you have Ezreal, who's not just a champion unit and has even stats like 3 for 3. And sure, you do play a power, but 3 for 3, right? But then it has the on-play ability and it has the repeat ability. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
The change in the card quality after just one set. So, hey, reveal's coming in just a few days, right?
Yes, starts Monday.
That is so exciting.
So tomorrow.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to be at work and then randomly just see every Twitter freaking out. It's going to be fun.
All right, so huge base here from Andrew D, and I believe did pull back. So now it is on Andrew B to go up to, if he does want to go up to 6, he does have a turn to work with here. Could opt to just develop in base for one more turn. It is a little bit scary. It is a little bit scary to do that, as Andrew D could just generate another casual, like 18 might. Play some Rasas.
Yeah, I mean, he could opt to go here just onto that Candlelit Sanctum with this Noxus Hopeful. Hopefully, get to look at the top 2 cards. Hopefully find something a little bit more useful to do on these following turns. And it looks like that is going to be the case, except he is going to choose that brand here Thundersong to do that. So she is going to be put into harm's way, if you will, and 2 cards will be sent to the bottom. And now this Tide Turner going to be used to swap her back to safety.
Yep, that is I'm not going to say the strongest turn. I mean, still, what, 6 runes to work with? I mean, the fact that the Thunder Song was just played out as a body, just, yikes. Okay. All right, and the whole battering brigade is ready to attack. Wait, is that a...
So
Why
if
is
you
there a
get
rune
all
there?
3 battering rams, is it a battering ramus?
Why is there a rune there?
Not sure.
Am I dumb?
No, I just
Whoa,
don't
what am I
understand it
missing?
either.
There's a rune on the seal. Oh, okay. I was confused. Maybe he was like representing something, but no, that was just a rune on the thing. Yeah, if I am Andrew B, I am really not feeling good about this. Maybe he was a little bit, what's the word for it? He made that small misplay, and it's really coming back to bite him. So not feeling good about himself. Maybe a little bit rustled. And ooh, a Nocturne is hit. Is this the? It's not the first one. We saw one in game one that was hit, but
Yeah, I believe this is the second one in this game,
yes.
though, because I know that he did discard at least one. I'm not sure if
Yes.
he discarded two, though.
Right, still a lot of runes to work with here. I can't see how many cards are in hand. A fair number. It is Draven. There are 3 Ezreals on the board. We've resolved some called shots.
A lot of cards.
I think the question here for Andrew D is when he wants to decide is the go button. When do you want to start committing heavily to the battlefields?
Yeah, there is only 3 cards available here for Andrew B, but that does not mean that that Tide Turner is not threatening, because he does have to play around Spinning Axe, and is just going to use that one
Yeah.
floating. Go ahead and stacked deck here. Don't get to see what he has.
Ooh, another
Reveals
Nocturne.
that third Nocturne. And
See, this is
there
a
we go.
game that if it wasn't untimed, so specifically because it's untimed, play it out, right? But if I was playing this in a normal round of Swiss, I would pick it up and go to the next game because this is such a rough spot. And not only that, but it's like a mental reset because you can tell Andrew B got a little bit
Flustered.
flustered. Thank you. That's a good word. Flustered over that misplay on the Noxus Hopeful, which made such a big impact on the rest of the game, right? Because you would be on 6 points here. Like that in itself is huge.
That is a very big difference. 5 and 6 is a very significant difference. But yeah, I mean, look, he is going to just go ahead and try and push into that battlefield. So the battering ram is going to be successful in doing so. And yep, is going to look at the top 2 sides that doesn't want any of those. And well, does actually find himself a seal. We'll have to see if he has another called shot to utilize it with, or even a Rasa. But Scrap Heap is going to get thrown away, and I do see another seal in hand, so that seal is going to come down, and Andrew D in a very commanding position.
Yeah, I think I see a Rasa or 2 in hand, at least one. At least one. And yes, heat right on the top, right? Yep, there's one, and we got the seal for it, so it's free. Come on, Andrew D. Where's your 2 other overnumbered seals?
What happened to Andrew A and Andrew C?
Yeah, we don't talk about them. There's
Oh.
a reason their top 16 is now only top 4, you know.
Okay.
This battle of the Andrews.
Rest in peace, Andrew A, Andrew C.
Yep, so pushing up an Ezreal.
Do you think they were on Draven?
Yeah, probably. At this point, everyone's Draven. I'm Draven. You're Draven.
It is the League of Draven.
Yes. And it looks like Andrew D did develop his own Thunder Song as simply just a. Actually, it's pretty good here because Andrew B was holding so many runes, right? It says if you have a spinning axe or something, you use it now, and I still have enough might to deal with anything you do.
Yep.
So at that point, that Thunder Song just says clear the battlefields, and now you're stuck with 2 units. Pretty rough spot, and still does have both of the Nocturnes, plus the Thunder Song, plus the Ezreal as might in the base.
Yeah, and he is going to be able to hold here pretty easily, I'd argue. I mean, 9 might is nowhere near as much as 15 and 14. So has to find a way to get back onto this game because right now it's just not happening. Brynir Thundersong proving to do exactly what she's supposed to do, which is just kind of take away a turn from your opponent. And the fact that she costs 6, everyone was like, oh man, it's so expensive. But the difference between her and set 1 and set 2 is absolutely stark. So we'll have to see if she gets even better in set 3. But I just have to assume that she will.
To me, the reason she's so much better in set 2 is that the purple deck got access to so many low cost cards and the ability to reduce the cost of their cards. and then so much draw that you can find the seals, which means that you aren't recycling as many runes when you're playing all these power-hungry cards. So you end up just naturally ramping up enough that you can play the Thunder Song and then still have like 4 to 5 to 6 runes, or even just develop a board and then just play the Thunder Song with 6 runes and tap out. But it doesn't matter because you're just pushing aggressively and then clearing things through combat. So
Absolutely. So Draven going to be put down here. It looks like
Draven,
Andrew
that's
is
the wrong blood brother. That's Darius.
Everything is Draven.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Darius wouldn't be happy about that.
Yeah, well, I made the mistake. So Darius is going to come down here. And he chose not to recycle the gold token, which I think is a little bit surprising. I think it really pieces to your point that Andrew just kind of doesn't really see a way out of this game and is just kind of hoping
It's
that
because he's at 10. Right? He was at 11 runes. So you want to go down to 10 because you're getting 2 at the start of your next turn.
Okay.
Yeah. So now he does use it, though. So, yeah. Falling Star coming down. Clearing out something. So it is a lot of might with the Darius plus the Thunder Song plus the Hopeful and another one.
Yep. That second Falling Star actually going to be doing a lot of work, and it's going to strip away one of these Rasas, actually, in fact, the only Rasa in play. And so now this Darius does have a little bit of extra reach, and Andrew might just be sitting on exactly a hard bargain. Now, if that is the case, Andrew D will not be able to respond in kind. I believe he's got a Rebuke in hand, so that would be the only way he responds. It might also be that fight or flight, but it looks like he's just going to allow this to happen here.
Wait, why couldn't you respond with a hard bargain?
Andrew B could respond with a hard bargain.
Okay. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, so Darius does clear, and Andrew B goes to the magical 6 points.
That he has been so desperately trying to get to.
Yes. And this would be very different. But there is still hope. I think both players are still in this. I think Andrew D is in the commanding position, but never count Andrew B out.
Yeah, Andrew D does need to... Wait, you said Andrew B twice.
No, I said D.
Nope.
Okay, my bad. All right,
You
we'll
said
go
I
with
think
that
Andrew
one.
B is in the commanding position, but I think Andrew B is still in this.
We'll go with that one. And he plays out everything to that candle that he says, I'm going to hold. Probably this means trying to go and hold up to 8. But the thing that makes this a little bit weird is...
This is very actually smart here from Andrew B, because if his last card in hand is actually a Kai'Sa, it does incentivize Andrew D to pull out of the first base here, at least with these battering rams. And if he doesn't utilize that Rebuke properly, and if maybe Andrew B does draw into a hard bargain, which I believe that last card in his hand is hard bargain, but we haven't seen any of those Kaisas, so he could just draw into the Kai'Sa. Yeah, I mean, he's in a pretty interesting position. Andrew D has to figure out how to get over this battlefield. Does play a last rites, so he will be able to bring back a battering ram or a Rasa if he chooses.
Yeah, very cool interaction that the last rites does allow you to pay less for the cost of the cards. So Rebuke coming out to bounce the Darius, which significantly softens this battlefield up.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, reducing the might by 5 is a pretty significant margin.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't want to give him the Bring Here Thundersong again, so just giving him that Draven or Darius is okay. I mean, it doesn't feel great, but it is really just the best line you have available right now. He might even have something like a Fight or Flight to just push him off even further. And then in that case, then it is going to be pretty safe to do so. So actually, instead, that overzealous fan going to be pushed away. And now, with this last rites, I think he will be able to overtake the battlefield.
8. Okay, so Thundersong goes up to 7. 7, 11, 15? Yeah, right?
8, 13, 15, yeah.
I was going to say, I don't even hate bouncing the Thundersong if you are going for something like that, because the Darius is effectively an accelerate unit, whereas the Thundersong is not. And if you are going to pay out and tap out, Thundersong isn't really hurting you because you're not going to do anything, and then it comes back to you and you're on 6 points. But obviously not the play here, going all the way in and saying, I'm going to clear this.
Yep, 14 versus 15. So now he has to get rid of the last right unit no matter what, which is this Brain here Thundersong, which means that at least one of these Nocturnes gets to survive. But also, Andrew B no longer has any units available. So 6 points is Andrew D, and he does manage to find a hard bargain off the top there. And, I mean, I think if I'm him, I just kind of bolster this Candlelit Sanctum with this Rasa.
Double Rasa.
Double Rasas here. And then maybe even go a step further.
Wow.
And bolster with that last rights. So instead not going to do so, but...
yeah, so apparently he did miss the draw off the Draven leader, I believe. But it should not matter as he's tapped out.
Yep.
Well, I say it should matter. It could matter if Andrew B is able to crack one of the battlefields. We do know as well that Andrew D did stack a hard bargain to the top. So you would have had a hard bargain, and then maybe you don't play out the merchant, right? But
yeah, game number 3.
Yep, that should be game. And Andrew D does take game 2. We will be seeing a game 3. Yeah, good stuff from Andrew D coming back from a rough start, putting Andrew B in a position where he could misplay and then taking advantage of it. Good stuff from him. Impressive play. And now we do get to see the game 3 of the Miracle Draven versus Midrange Draven. Get a little peek at their side decks as well. I see a couple rebukes. Looks like those are going in. Not quite sure what the last card is there. Both players opting to play thermal beams, which does make sense. Yeah, the thermal beam card is set 1. It was like whatever. It was like, oh, I'm gonna play thermal beam for a single Aurora. Like, eh. But now when thermal beam can just say like, haha, Orn, die. The card has aged pretty well.
Yeah.
It's only been one set too.
You still have no idea how much it hurts my soul that orange is just basically unplayable because purple's just that good.
No,
Paired
but
with
like,
green here.
But he has like Deflect 6. It's so good.
Yeah, right?
Anyways, rebuke.
Yeah.
I'll put
Oh,
back
I have
6.
to recycle 6 runes?
Okay.
Oh, but you lose though, right? Yeah, but don't think about it like that.
Yeah, true. You're right.
You have to recycle 6. You don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that. That's like a big punishment.
Yeah.
Oh.
Think about the next turn after you won.
Oh, and wait, but you don't win on the next turn. I'm just gonna play him again. Rebuke. Oh, you have no runes? Push up. 7. Push up. 8. Yeah, very sad for the Orn players out there.
Guess not so fast is okay, but you don't understand. Not so fast isn't a card when Bring Her Thundersong is.
Correct.
All right, you monster.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I have all the answers. I can not so fast your rebuke, and they were like, yeah, but what about if I play Bring Her first? And then you're like,
Yeah, there are a lot of ways that make it really miserable for them, and one of the other problems is it's the same problem Aurelia has a lot of times where it's like, sure, she has answers. You have to draw them. And if you don't draw them, it's not just like bad, it's unwinnable.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because you can work with bad matchups. Those happen all the time. But when things just get to the point of your strategy just doesn't work against the most popular stuff, I think Orn will get a lot better if they do end up tuning purple down a little bit. I think that will help. As
Purple's at like a 13. They need to bring it back down to like an 8.
Yeah. Yep.
Like a lot.
Ban the stack deck card. That's what I'm saying.
They should just ban the color.
I think there are a lot of Magic players who would agree with you if you were talking about that blue color. Like, no counter spells, ever.
Yeah.
All right, so...
I do think counter spells are an interesting thing because they do keep balance in the game in a sense, but they also do hinder game design in the future. So it's like it's weird.
Yeah, I agree a lot. I think one of the difficulties with the green color right now is the green cards mostly suck. And it feels difficult for me for them to print really good green support in the future because now you would have a good color backed up with
Counter
counter
spells.
spells, right?
Yep.
And at that point, no one's gonna like playing against it, and it's just gonna be broken. So it becomes a little bit weird. And I like negates. I think negates are interesting, and I think they allow you to print stronger cards because there's a counter for those stronger cards. But at the same time, they do limit card design to an extent, unless they just want to accept and say green is always going to be a supporting color rather than a primary color, and say, all right, well,
They
any
must not know the color wheel.
yeah, it would end up being that like the green side of a leader is just you get to play Defy Not So Fast Wind Wall, right?
Yep.
All right, very aggressive start here from Andrew B. Ride the Wind, pulling back the fan and playing out a hopeful. Okay, yeah, very
Yeah,
aggressive
I see
start.
the reason. Yeah, I mean this honestly is a pretty good play pattern here. He's using the right win just to score an extra point. I mean, this is one of those cards where you're just gonna play it early just because it is an extra point. Um, and I know there's a lot of players that'll hold on to the Ride the Wind in their anti decks just for that Vi Ride the Wind combo. But I mean, you're running multiple copies of a card like this for a reason, and this is absolutely one of them right here. So the Seal of Discord is going to get played here on Andrew D's side so that this Ezreal can get come down. And now he's just going to discard a scrap heap, draw 3 cards, and probably find a whole new group of cards.
Yeah, 3 cards, quite a lot. I wish I could draw 3 cards across 3 turns sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah, anyways, we're going to ignore that. But so Draven is available here to push up onto the peak if he does wish to do so. I wouldn't be super surprised if we just developed, but yeah. So it does look like he just does opt to develop. It is a little bit spooky when you may leave your units kind of stranded out there on the battlefields when Andrew B is going to work with a hopeful plus a full set of runes. And he is in the range where you can start using, like, you could start doing stuff like axes and still have units to develop, and just don't want to give him draws, which is one of the cool things with that Ride the Wind play is no opportunity for draws if I just abandon the battlefields.
It's true. I mean, he is able to stay on that even point parity, and he is ahead on points here, which kind of pressures Andrew D just kind of passively to deal with it. And because he doesn't really have that answer to do so, Andrew B is just going to really take full advantage of it. And I believe they passed it back to Andrew B. And so Andrew just going to figure out what he wants to do with this turn here. But for the time being, it just kind of feels like neither player really has an advantage over the other. It does feel like as long as Andrew B is able to continue this game plan of cheesing out, points every turn, that he will eventually win. So if Andrew B does have the second Ride the Wind, which I assume he does, in his hand.
You assume he does? You think he plays multiples?
I assume he's running 2.
Okay. I've seen that card in many, like anywhere from 0 to 3 in these Draven lists. So
yeah,
that's why I'm curious. What is he gonna do? A lot of thinking. And so Falling Star coming out, I can only imagine he's hitting. Okay, yeah, hitting both the units. The Ezreal is the main engine of the deck, plus the seals, but is not quite able to hit the seals unless he's playing like a Detonate build, and you are generally not going to be popping seals with a Detonate. That feels pretty bad.
that does feel pretty bad.
Yeah, so both the units dying, stuck back down to 1 unit. I don't think Andrew D is playing Bushwhack. We haven't seen it once, so not too much in the Accelerate. And the Draven comes out. Targon's readying to.
Yeah, this is a pretty strong position to be in here if you are Andrew D. You did just soak up a whole bunch of runes from your opponent's side of the board, and they're only at 3 points, so it's going to be a while before they're really able to take advantage of it. And you have that fight or flight to push back that Overzealous Fan or that Noxus Hopeful. So I mean, it's really not going to be a one combat from either player if that is the case. But you could also just even opt to recycle a rune to do so, but instead just going to go ahead and call shot once and hopefully find something a little bit more useful. So does find a stacked deck, and we'll keep digging through it.
Yep, so seen 5 cards already. What else are we going to do here? Do I see a piercing? Can't quite tell. It's a little bit
I
dark in
believe
the
there is a
sand.
piercing light there, but does just drop down a second Ezreal, and well, we'll keep going through his deck and very likely drop down another called shot at least in these coming turns. So
Rasa getting discarded there.
there is a Seal of Discord.
Yeah, I see a seal. I see 2 called shots. I see a fight or flight. Can't quite tell what that last card is.
Neither can I. Now, 3 more runes going to be exhausted. Is that another Ezreal? No. It's going to be a piercing light instead. And he's going to be able to shoot both the Draven and that Noxus Hopeful.
Yep. So clearing quite a bit here. Spinning Axe coming down to save the Draven, which is going to feel pretty bad because that was a lot of runes spent to make this play. And then if you do end up shoving up your own Draven, I mean, you just can't shove up your own Draven now because then you lose the Draven, you give a gold, you give a draw. So.
Yeah. Well, he does have a fight or flight, but, I mean, you do have to play around hard bargain, and both these players are eating their runes for breakfast, so we'll have to see if that is going to be the case, but yeah.
Okay, so opting to do it. So yeah, like you said, probably going to commit the fight or flight as a hidden. So Andrew B thinking here. I don't think, yeah, just thinking if he wants to use the overzealous fan here. The reason being is it would prevent a draw. So you
And a
do
gold.
keep him off of the draw and the gold. That's a good call out for the following turn.
I don't think there's too much to think about here. I think every time I'm taking this advantage, I guess he just wants to decide whether or not he wants to get rid of this Draven.
Correct. Well, it's, yeah, because then you do get to, if you do that, then you get to win the next combat with your Draven, and you get your own draw and gold, and you come out slightly ahead. But so it does look like he opts to allow the combat to go through, deciding that on the next turn he is going to go ahead and try and take out that Draven via combat. So now the fight or flight hidden.
Oh, that misses the Targon peak trigger.
Oh no. That actually matters too, because if he does end up playing a unit, you can pay for a hard bargain 1, a non-repeated hard bargain.
Oh, finding out now, and we'll have to see if the judge allows it. But I believe the trigger was indeed missed, and at these high stakes here, usually do not allow something like this at this high of an elo game, but looks like that is going to be the case.
All right, so he does get the runes off the Targons. So 2 runes to work with. That makes things very different because now you do need to play around a fight or flight in hand. You need to play around, yeah, so now ending up to go on to the other battlefield. So at that point, I wonder if it's even, do you really let your fan die? I feel like you don't let your fan die then. You just use the trigger, right? Just say, I'm going to push it back if you're going to go for this route.
Absolutely. I think one of the big things that I would have liked to have seen here from Andrew B is just use that overzealous fan. Even if he didn't know that there was going to be a hidden card played, you have to expect that he's going to be able to ready 2 runes if you do that. And then you have to play around a lot more cards than you otherwise would like to. And you need to be able to develop your board just that little bit further. And if you allow this to happen, well, your opponent gets 1 extra card, 1 more resource to work with, and a gold token.
Yep.
So a lot of things going to be utilized there, and now this Tide Turner going to be placed down, and Andrew B going to pass the turn.
Yep. So goes up to 2 here with the hold on the Draven. Still representing threats with 3 runes up for Andrew B. Quite a lot in that range. Again, the rebukes, the fighter flights, the axes. It is one of the cool things that the mid-range build does have access to that traditionally the miracle builds play at least less of is the axes.
Mm-hmm.
Though you do see more cards in the miracle build. So, and it looks like a Nocturne was hit off of the called shot.
Yeah, but Andrew D does need to pay the power cost before he goes for the repeat effect, I thought.
Did he not?
No.
Oh, he has the Ezreal.
It's not an optional cost.
Yeah, no, he tapped the seal, right?
Now,
Oh, did he do it? Well, no, you have to tap the seal for the first use.
yeah,
Because Ezreal only reduces the second. What am I missing?
he revealed the Nocturne off the first trigger. Of the
Does it
cold
work
shot.
that way?
You have to do it when it's revealed.
Okay. Okay.
At least that's how I thought it worked. But
I thought
I
it
mean,
was
there is
like,
a judge there that's clearly.
Yeah.
I guess I'm very.
I thought it
clearly wrong.
worked as it was after the thing resolves. So you reveal it, you banish it, you do the second, because the stack or the called shot is like one effect. And I thought it would have to fully resolve. But
Okay, you
I could be
right.
wrong.
Could be right.
But anyway, Nocturne does get played out. I mean, I think I see. What do I see in hand? So another stack deck. Can we hit another Nocturne?
Another one.
Another one. I see a seal. I see. Is that a stack deck?
I saw a seal and a hard bargain. I don't know if
Okay.
I saw the stacked deck. Oh no, it is a stacked deck.
Yeah. I do see a Bushwhack. So that is new. We have not seen him play Bushwhack yet, correct?
Yeah, not this series. No.
Okay. So that's interesting. I was just assuming he was playing a Miraculous without the Bushwhack, which we did see in, I believe, was it Randy who played the non-Bushwhack Miracle Draven at Vegas? It was one of the Miracleists in the top cut, or at least in the top 16, was playing a non-Bushwhack Miracle Draven. So thinking if he wants to flip the fight or flight there, maybe attack the other battlefield, pull back the Draven, push up onto the Tide Turner. So you do start opening yourself up to like another axe, fight or flight.
Yeah, I do think it was a bit of a tell here that that it is a fight or flight.
Yes, absolutely. I think Andrew B should have a very clear read that this is a fight or flight. That being said, the Miracle Draven doesn't play a lot of other. It's like one switcheroo, right? All right, Andrew D pushing up 2 units here. This does play around both, actually, of the potential options here, both the fight or flight or the spinning axe. And gets the gold token, gets the draw.
And just keeps plugging away here. We'll be able to draw that additional card. I'm not sure that I saw him draw. May have missed it. But he does have a battering ram that I think he wants to try and develop and just start holding on to this battlefield. So
It's so crazy to me that you get to play these giant units for essentially free.
but you have to play 4 cards first.
That's crazy.
3 of them can be called shot.
This is true. That is unfortunately true. And looks like he passes it over after stacking up a little bit into the obelisk. Oh, look, my fan's back. That's crazy. Thank you, Mr. Ronald Sunkist. I appreciate it. You know, as a llama connoisseur myself,
A Kalama.
a Kalama connoisseur,
Kind of sour.
Kinda sour.
Kalama kind of sour.
Absolutely.
He's
And
not in the finals.
I don't think Draven likes sour. He seems like he'd be a savory guy. What do you think?
I'm with you on that. That makes sense.
No, there is no repeat. count.
Repeat works
Yeah.
like if you ever played Magic the Gathering, it works like kicker cost. So it's not an additional spell that you're playing, it's just an additional effect that you're getting when you
Yes.
pay the cost.
Yes, and repeat costs are optional costs, so you can reduce them. However, the unit reduction, so Rasa and Noxious Hopeful and Battering Ram cannot be reduced because those are not optional costs. They are just the cost of the card.
Well, sort of.
Well, they can, but not by Ezreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just like, they're kind of optional. You know, you're like, I could pay the full energy or
Or I could just like
play it for
it.
free.
Yeah, I could just play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? What are they going to do about it?
I played the cards.
I mean, I have a battering ram. What are you going to do? I show up to your house with a battering ram.
Counterspell. That doesn't work.
That does not work. Draven pushed up with the axe, so very thematic here. Draven and his axe going into a fight. We'll have to see if Andrew B does decide to use the trigger. That should be 7 might going into 5, 8, 12.
Yeah, 9 might into 12, essentially.
Yes, and Andrew D can also use the trigger as well. So maybe a little game of chicken here, deciding who does want to do this. To me, this is representing that Andrew B does have some sort of combat trick here, because even with the trigger, that would only be 9. But no, instead opting to trade here, maybe going for a accelerated Kaisa or a Darius to finish this off.
Yeah, a little bit surprised to see Andrew play this so timidly. I mean, there's 3 runes available from Andrew D, so he just doesn't want to commit anything further to get hit with something like a fight or flight or even a hard bargain if he tries to commit anything further. And because of this, you know, he's kind of walking into a wall, if you will, and now this Kaisa is going to come down and force these runes to come together.
Did he get the draw off of the Draven combat win there?
Yes, he did.
Okay, nice.
Yep. So just going to go ahead and attach that spinning axe to this Kaisa here and then allow himself to really get over that battering ram's reach. And now Andrew B still has 2 runes available, which means that Andrew D has to play around this hard bargain. It's going to be a little bit difficult to try and get over this here, but he is going to try and deal with it. No hard bargain in his sights.
Yeah, that's a really
spinning
impactful
axe
rebuke.
is just going to stick around for a turn, but really just die.
Yeah, very high impact rebuke there. It stops the combat one. It gives another Draven draw. It outs the spinning axe. It essentially blanked that whole turn from Andrew. Like, sure, you did remove the Draven and the Ezreal, but do you care? Like, I mean, they're annoying, but do you care? So
Yeah, I mean, I have to say no, honestly. So Andrew D going to go and bring himself up to 5 points. It is that odd point threshold that we often talk about as a big detriment. But even still, Andrew D just going to continue to try and bolster his front lines with these Rasas. And it's going to be incredibly difficult for Andrew B to come back as he really only has 2 turns to figure it out here. He's going to go all the way up to 7 points before Andrew B can really take advantage of this scenario and these Rasas, just showcasing how powerful they can be.
yeah, and opting to hide a card here, I can only imagine it's another fight or flight. I see a fight or flight and a hard bargain in hand, so quite a lot to work with here in terms of combat tricks. Though I will say this is the 5-point turn, so 5 going up to 7 if he does hold. That is not winning the game. There is still time for Andrew B to be able to come back here.
Yep. And then Andrew D on the following turn can even just opt to move both the units that are on that Targon's Peak to the other side of the base, or to that other base. You just use that fight or flight on the Rasa, and then Nocturne himself has ganking. So
Yes, this is true. If he does wish to do so, and you can just hold, right? Like going on odd points, that does give you the hold option. Draven is fairly good at going tall, so holding can be a little bit difficult. But if Andrew D holds all these runes for interactions, it gets a little bit scary. The axe does end up dying from the temporary, as expected, and the Darius coming out. I imagine we have a 2-drop, so here comes the Tide Turner readying the Darius. Does he opt to actually swing in? I can't imagine you would here. Yeah, probably just developing, saying going up to 7. Yeah, so there we go. Passes it back over. See if he goes for that play you said. Good fight or flight back and then move over.
Yeah,
Full send the hold. I can't imagine you would, though, because you want to force him to take both battlefields. That seems harder to me.
Yeah, I mean, we do see a piercing light in Andrew D's hand, which is, at spell speed, which means you can only do it during your turn.
Yes.
So that is the only downside here of the piercing light. But, I mean, he's got so many different tricks at his disposal. It feels like it might just be a better idea to try and hold one of these battlefields rather than keep this Rasa on this Targon's Peak. But there could be a reason as to why he doesn't want to do so. We'll have to see if he decides that that is going to be the case. The Nocturne is getting ganked over, which leads me to believe that he is going to take that fight or flight and utilize this Rasa. Instead, just going to move it to base. Nope.
See, the thing with the fight or flight is you can also just use it to win a combat, right? So is it even worth it? You could just leave the Rasa here and say you have to take both battlefields. You don't have an answer on board, so it has to come from your hand, and then you have to push through the hidden plus fight or flight in hand, which is not super easy.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that is going to be the case. He is going to have to figure out how to get rid of both of these battlefields on this turn. There is 15 might on that Obelisk of Power, as well as an additional 6 on that Targon's Peak. And while there was no Piercing Light used, it would have been interesting to see him, use that Piercing Light on that Tide Turner. Just shoot your Rasa once, and then shoot that Tide Turner once, and then get rid of it. Just kind of restrict what other options he has available. That might have been a slightly better option, but we don't know what choices he has going for him here. So Andrew B just got to start out here with sending both of these units in and seeing what Andrew D has available.
Yeah, it seems to me like a pretty... you could just say okay, and then trade with the Darius. Yeah, you could just say okay, traded with the Darius. Now he is forced to commit units from hand, right? And at that point, you have to commit units from hand that have accelerate and go with deal with double fight or flight. So, yep, Andrew D does take the win, and Andrew D moving on to finals.
All right.
Good stuff, good stuff. These Draven mirror matches are tough. See, this is why I like this. A lot of back and forth. When you have two decks that are like a